Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy Joey Dang Options.
Dang.
And I'm Sharif. And we got Shaggy 937. Let's go. I don't think I've ever called out your name, Shaggy, so I'm more than willing to do that. Shout out to you. We got Let's Go as well.
Let's go. Wasn't me.
We got beer producer Benton. Come on, you gunners. We got Apple G King, big boy. Gang, gang, gang. Ike Release. We got, who else? MB3. We got the OG Gore, MKB Trader. Will Trade for Food. That always gives me a little bit of a chuckle there. Los Paulos Hermanos. You've been calling that one out. We got my man Elon. What's going on, Elon? We got Boo Boo 8. All right. We got Mohammed Forex. Why you swearing, Mohammed? Take it easy there, Mohammed. Come on, bro. Bright Awakening. We got Grubs. We got Pretty Panda. Shout out to my man Pretty. We got Gator. We got Larry Prater. 2002 Toyota Hilux. Sure. Bax. We got Vinay. Who else we got? We got Always Rise. Really? We got Two Wheel Rider. And shout out to Chad Alon. I hope I didn't butcher your last name. We got Diru, Sam Huis. Who else we got? Joseph. We got Eric. We got Green Hub, Vizbot. Malcolm Aldridge said that one before, like it. Joel Mercado. We got RGH. It's just moving too quickly, and I suck. Kobe the Kid. What's going on? Kobe the Kid, I think you changed your name because that picture looks awfully familiar. I know that's you, Kobe the Kid. Showtime 1, Joseph, Paul E. And last but certainly not least, we got YG13, Warren, and Scott J. Good morning to everybody. Hope everybody has a fantastic morning and has been printing up several storms. Joseph,
yes, sir.
We're going to do this lesson on the future.
We are.
But before we do that, we got to tell them how these sectors are doing.
Yeah, we got to tell them how these sectors are doing. Ram giving us a hard time, too, back there. So it's all right. All right, guys, let's see what's going on here for the top performing sectors this morning. And what do we got in first place? I don't think you guys could guess it. It's real estate, guys, up about 0.87%. There we go, exactly. So get in those REITs, guys, because it seems to be trading to the top side in second place. I bet you won't be able to guess this one either, but maybe you will. It is utilities up about 0.8, and then XLV sitting in, well, I shouldn't say XLV, but the healthcare sector sitting in third place there, guys, up about 0.6%. And let's go from third to last place. I remember I used to do it as the win play show, but for all my track stars out there, but here we go. Third, yeah, she's a runner. Whatever happened to that guy? I don't know. Materials. So here we go. Third last here, guys. Materials down about 0.2. Consumer discretionary down about 1% there, and then the communication services being led by Google here, guys, down about 1.7% on the session. So tough look here for Google and company, but I think this thing is an absolute buy at any time, any dip, and from its history, it's a repeat offender, as the boys like to say. You buy those dips on Google because sure enough, price will start to appreciate.
All right, Mohammed, I told you to stop swearing, brother. Streamlabs is going to time you out, and you got timed out. See what happens? I told you.
What do you say?
He wants me to look at gold. We're going to look at gold.
We'll look at gold, man.
We've got a lesson to do.
Digital gold.
Digital gold. Oh, you mean Bitcoin?
I've been talking smack, baby.
In case you guys don't know, Joseph and I have a bet on. Now, let's just refresh everybody's memory about the bet in case you didn't join us yesterday. By my birthday, May 25th, 11:59 p.m. and 59 seconds, if Bitcoin hits 125,000 by then, not on that day, by then, Joseph sends me 2 shares of iBit. If it doesn't hit 125,000 by that time and date, I send your boy over there, Joey Options, 2 shares of iBit, and he's $100
richer there. USD. So that's like 500 CAD. So that's like 500 CAD.
We're already going back. Already on Canada. All right, guys. Habitual violator. Yes, habitual line stepper. Shout out to Celery 2 and anybody who knows the Chappelle Show. Let's get right down to business, though, baby. We're talking about the futures. We started out the lesson on Monday about the futures today. We're going to talk about the different assets you can trade and invest in even. if you want to get in on some futures trading. So intraday futures trading offers leveraged exposure to the underlying markets, but it requires a strong understanding of each instrument's quirks and features. Shout out to Doug DeMauro, and anybody who watches knows exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a breakdown of the popular options that we typically look at. So let's look at these underlying instruments. So the NQ. That's the NASDAQ futures. That's going to be the NQ contract. We have 4 different contracts per year: December contract, March contract, June contract, and I don't know what's the other one, Neil. I don't know. The December contract, I think. Okay. So with these ones, with the NQ, you get a couple of variations. You have the NQ, you have the MNQ, right, which is just a smaller version of the same thing. It's a bit cheaper. Each tick is worth a little bit less. For up moves and down moves, obviously. So the NASDAQ, this tracks the NASDAQ 100. So it doesn't track the NASDAQ composite, but it tracks the NASDAQ 100, okay? So it's the top 100. It's basically non-financial companies. They don't have to be tech only, but it's non-financial companies in that NQ 100, okay? So it's a stock market index of 100 large non-financial U.S. companies. That's the NQ. The ES. That's the S&P. That's the futures contract for the S&P. Much like the NASDAQ, you can trade the MES, which is the smaller version of the ES there, okay? Again, each tick up and down worth a little bit less, and obviously a contract worth less as well. So you can have less money in your account to trade that. So this tracks the S&P 500, a stock market index, as we know, of the 500 leading U.S. companies across various sectors. So the NQ and the ES. Now, I know that there's the Dow. I know that there's the Russell, the RTY, and the YM. We're not going to discuss those today because most of the time we're involved in either the ES or the NQ or some variation thereof. Okay, so there's ways also to trade this if you don't want to go into the futures and get the leveraged products and have to pay for that data. You can also trade it through the equity route, through ETFs, exchange traded funds. So the first one, which is the ETF version of the Triple Q. So this tracks the NASDAQ 100 index, similar to the NQ and the MNQ, but it is an ETF, so it's a basket of securities. Same thing for the ES. You have the SPY, the SPY. Shout out to Big Spile Burdette. This tracks the S&P 500 index, similar to the ES, but again, as an ETF, as an exchange traded fund. Okay? So keep that in mind. Then you have your leveraged ETFs. So these are like 2 times, 3 times the movement of whatever derivative they're trading or whatever futures contract they're trading off. So the TQQs, these are the Pro Shares Ultra Pro Triple Q. This provides 3 times daily leverage returns for the Triple Qs, the QQQs, the one that we just showed you there for the NASDAQ. It amplifies your gains and losses. So that's what being a 3 times daily leverage product is. Now, if you want to hold these leverage products overnight, you should know that they reset. Okay, and then there's decay that ensues with that. So you should really be careful about holding the leverage products as investment as opposed to actually holding the Triple Qs or the SPY. And then you also have the SQQ. So this is a Pro Shares Ultra Pro short of the Triple Q. So unlike the 3 times daily leverage, this is minus the 3 times leverage returns of the Triple Q. So profit, you profit in this case when the Triple Qs fall. Wow. And you lose on the SQs when the Triple Qs rise. What's going on? Do we need to?
No, we're good. But I mean, the market's absolutely just ripping right now. Good. NVDA putting in a new high of day. Excuse me. And then then the SPY and the Qs are also up there. Yeah, that's real funny. But yeah, continue. Go ahead.
Unreal, bro. Yeah. Takes pleasure in people's.
Yeah, I remember when I was like, one time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pour salt in the wounds, and she just started laughing.
Happy.
Yeah, she was so happy.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah.
Get it, Ram. All right. So what are some of the peculiarities and the differences between these contracts and these different products in general? Let's talk about the index versus the ETF. So the NQ and the ES, these are futures contracts. They expire on specific dates. Like, for example, the March contract that we're trading off right now expires sometime in March, right? The Qs and the SPY, they're ETFs. They offer more continuous holding. They don't expire. They just go on. okay? The leverage products like the TQQs that we just talked about, the SQQs, these magnify your daily returns by 3 times for these specific products, but they're riskier and they're not suitable for long-term holding due to the compounding effects, okay? You can Google a little bit more about that if you want to understand why you shouldn't be holding these leverage products for more than, whatever, smaller time frame. The market cap here, the NQ specifically focuses on the large cap tech. We said it we're looking at the 100, the Nasdaq 100 in this particular case, while the ES offers you a more broad exposure across all sectors. So you're not just looking at the top 100 kind of tech-focused non-financial companies that the NQ offers you. The ES, which is looking at the S&P, is a broader composite sort of the market, with all 500 companies there being represented in the prices. And this is kind of what we're looking at there. This is the NQ December contract. It would expire December 21st, 2018, just to give you kind of a look there. And this is the Qs. So this is the actual futures contract. You can see that because it has an expiry, while this is just the actual ETF. So when you hear people say, oh, I bought the market. Well, what the hell do you mean you bought the market? You bought the entire market? No. Well, I bought basically either the SPY or the Qs. What they're saying, I bought, an investment into a large exposure of the market when people say that. So what do we need to take into consideration here when we're trading these bad boys intraday? Liquidity, first and foremost. The NQ and the ES, they're very highly liquid, okay? Making them easier to enter and exit trades, whereas, the leverage products, the TQQQ and the SQQQ, they can increase bid-ask spreads. And we see this oftentimes when we look at leverage products. I know Adara loves when things are spready. It's her modus operandi. It's where she shines. But when we're looking, just to get in and get out with really with ease, having a wider spread can be a bit challenging here, okay? So the leverage products typically have a bit wider spread. It's not a hard and fast rule, but the leverage nature make them sometimes a little bit less liquid. And the volatility. The NQ, for example, and the TQQs can become more volatile due to their tech-heavy composition. The ES and the SPY, on the other hand, offer, as I mentioned, broader exposure to the overall market, potentially less volatile as an alternative. Again, that's not a hard and fast rule. Sometimes the ES will be down more than the NQ because the MAG 7, for example, didn't get hit that day when the overall market did. So that's not a hard and fast rule, but something to keep in the back of your mind. Trading each instrument. So the core mechanics of buying and selling are similar for most of these instruments. However, consider the following factors. The NQ and the ES, the futures contracts in other words, these focus on price movements, margin requirements, so your initial deposit to hold a position, and the contract expiration date. So I'll submit to you, you're going to have to throw up some big boy money in order to be able to trade these unless you get very aggressive leveraging from your broker. We'll talk more about the Q and the SPY and the TQQQ and the SQQQ when we get back from Midday.
Sorry for the interruption. I wanted to bring up LYV. As you can see here, a bit of a topping tail candle for this one, a little bit of added volatility. And that is because we do have Third Point, which is a hedge fund here, announcing they have a new position in LYV. This is Live Nation, in case you missed it. Also here, there wasn't much of a move on this, but I'm going to put it out because around when the show flipped, around 11 a.m., we did have Google announcing that they released their newest Gemini 2.0 AI model suite to everyone. So now that is readily available to all. We know it's really been trying to work on that agentic AI. So nice push there for GOGL. Did not mention it earlier because of the lack of move, but I think it is worth noting. Back to you.
Thank you, Adira. And just so everybody knows, I want to remind you guys that there is this website. It's a really good one. It's called, what's it called again? AI Studio. aistudio.google.com. You go over here and then look on the right where it says model. You get all their models. Their experimental models, all the different models that they have for different features. Play around with them, look, and you can kind of explore what they're good for. So that's aistudio.google.com. It's free for everybody, okay? So let's go back to the lesson. We were talking about here trading, the nuances of each instrument. So as I mentioned, you're going to have to deposit more money into your account in order to trade the NQ and the ES, which are a lot more expensive than punching in one share of the triple Qs or the SPY, okay? Speaking of the triple Qs and the SPY, similar to the NQ and the ES, but with no expiry concerns, right? You can consider expense ratios, your annual fees that usually we pay for ETFs that we got to cough up associated with ETF products. So that's where you're going to run into some expenses there that you wouldn't really typically run into if you were to hold the equity directly, like owning Apple's share. The only time you would pay anything for owning Apple's share is your data permissions, and then if you were borrowing it on margin, you'd have to pay that annual interest rate. But if you own it outright, you wouldn't pay anything. If you own the triple Qs, you own the SPY, you got to pay that ETF, that management fee, okay? So the triple Qs, the T triple Qs, excuse me, and the S triple Qs, due to their leverage, you should really be focusing on short-term holding and avoid compounding effects. Strictly manage risk with stop-loss orders goes without saying because it's a leverage product, so the price swings are going to be more pronounced. Now, the contract size. The NQ, the E-mini, okay? This is the E-mini. This represents about $1,000 per point on the NASDAQ 100, okay? The MNQ, a smaller version of the NQ, represents about $20 per point on the NASDAQ 100. The ES, this is kind of the movement. The ES represents $500 per point on the S&P 500 index, while the MES is basically similar to the MNQ, a smaller version of the ES. This represents about $50 per point on the S&P 500. The tick value. A tick value is the minimum price movement a contract can experience. So here's how to break it down. For the NQ and the ES, both have a minimum tick value of 0.25. That means they move up in ticks of a quarter. So for example, 21,500. Let's just take that as a starting point. The minimum tick it can move up is 21,500, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, okay? So the NQ and the ES, that's what they do. The MNQ and the MES, due to their smaller contract size, they have a proportionally smaller tick value. So the MNQ has a minimum tick value of, again, 0.25 index points, which translates to about 50 cents. So it's 20 multiplied by 0.25. And the MES has a minimum tick value of around 0.25 as well, indexed, which is about $1.25, give or take. So it'd be 50 multiplied by that 0.25. Okay? So keep that in mind. So just as an analogy, imagine the NQ and the ES as standard buckets, holding $1,000 and $500 of water respectively. A single tick would be adding or removing a quarter cup of water. The MNQ and the MES are smaller buckets holding $20 and $50 of water. And a tick would be adding or removing a smaller amount proportional to their size. So essentially just smaller versions of a larger product, okay? So the key takeaways here, the NQ and the ES are larger contracts for experienced traders, while the MNQ and the MES are smaller and better suited, for more, I would say, intermediate, not even beginners, due to their lower cost. The tick value is crucial for understanding the potential profit and loss in each trade. Just remember, guys, always use stops. And I hope everybody, Joseph, prints up a storm.
Hey.
And we got to tell them.
We got to tell the people.
Do not forget, please, to like and subscribe. We're awfully close to that 500,000 subscriber mark. And needless to tell you guys, once we hit that 500, Joseph, it fundamentally changes the algorithm with YouTube.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. And we'll probably get another plaque that we'll put up.
Yeah,
and
put that up there.
We already have the YouTube rep meeting with Brendo yesterday.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was very good stuff on our end here. So very happy about that. Hopefully we can do a bit better with that 500,000.
Yeah. Well, I think you get that exponential growth, right? Once you hit that 500K, that's a massive new milestone, and then sure enough, you can just continue to soar from there. But guys, we're in some Google here. I'm looking for this thing to bounce a little bit. As of right now, it's not doing so, rejecting the volume weighted average price almost to a T. So let's see if this thing can move. I mean, if you look at it from a daily perspective, we're running into some key support levels here. Are we going to bounce off this 188? Maybe. But what if also we breach to the downside? So we have to be prepared for that. 189 and change, I'm going to have to get out here. Or sorry, 188 and change, I'm going to have to get out of this trade and look to reassess the situation, because Amazon is continuing to the south side. So officially Burden and I were talking in the chat. I said, hey, man, maybe it's a sympathy play with Google here on Amazon just due to the cloud services, right? So the street looking for that growth within, even though it's still there, it is starting to dwindle in Google, but also in AWS as well, too. So that's where maybe you can see a little bit of effect in Amazon's stock price as Google continues to the south side as well, guys. But I still think they're going to knock it out the park on their earnings report, which I believe is this Thursday. So looking forward to that one. But yeah, as of right now, sitting in this Google, hopefully that we can pull back a little bit back towards the volume weighted average price, as I mentioned before. If not, then yeah, that's it for that trade. NVDA failed the break. Yeah, me and Branks got a nice swing on that one. So looking for that to hit 125 and change, and I think it will. Let's take a look at NVDA from a daily perspective and see what we got going on here. I mean, we were talking like 114. This thing was an absolute steal. I don't know if you see that price again. I could be totally wrong. But if you were grabbing it around these levels at the low, then congratulations to you. I told you guys I had a swing from 127. It dropped down to 122. I'm like, yeah, let me get out of Dodge here and see what else I can do. So then what I do, I just bought it a little bit lower now. So that's working out really nice. Looking for us to enter this gap on NVDA. I mean, they don't report until next month as well, too, Sharif. So that's one thing we have to look forward to. AMD wasn't, I mean, I think Brian Shannon had such a valid point on AMD. The stock is just dead, and it's going to need a lot for this thing to turn around from a daily perspective. So it's going to need to have some really big surprises on their earnings reports. So now you have to wait another quarter unless some massive catalysts come in between there. But as of right now, that's not something I'm going to be looking to buy the dip on, because if we pull up the AMD chart here and you continue to buy the dip, well, like, when did you start buying the dip on this thing? Because it just keeps dipping, and yeah, it's not looking too good if you ask me. Now punching through some key support levels as well too. So I know he likes to use the Katina man likes to use the reference of essentially dead money, but we're back at November of 2023 levels. So unless you got out at the top or you've been in bag holding since then, it's not looking too good for you on AMD, my guy.
AMD. Okay, let's do this. We're involved already, guys, in a trade SLXN, up 32%, give or take. It holds VWAP like a dang T. No, it didn't actually wick below it, but that's fine. I want to do that for a fact. No, seriously though, it's a good-looking chart for resistance flips to support. Here's what I'm talking about: $1.52. You can see we topped out there, whiffled and waffled at that $1.44. Then the volume stepped in, and then we made that high day into 172. Lo and behold, after we made that high day, we dropped back into 152, and lo and behold, we held 152. So this area of resistance flips to support. I like the look. It's putting in higher lows. It's still off the high, though, at the $1.72. We have already taken a print here up at 65s. Now I'm waiting at 64s. We took a print at 64. I'm now waiting at 66 and 68. Let's see what this one does. I've also set up a dip trade on Aurora Cannabis. I was trading this in the sim in the morning. I trade in the sim in the morning, and then when I get into the show, I'm trading live. So I was trading this one quite successfully with Neil. I know he was involved. He had a long there at 511. So I'm looking at getting it at 525, and not just because I'm born on 525, but that's where VWAP is. Yeah, bro, I'm so superstitious like that. So I'm looking for the VWAP dip on Aurora Cannabis, and that happens to be a little bit lower than 525. It's like 518, give or take. So we're gonna set up the order there. Come what may, we're gonna look to weasel into Aurora Cannabis. I'm also looking at Big Bear AI. Shout out to AK in the chat for bringing this to my attention. I already knew about it because Brendo talked about it in the morning. Adara brought it up again when she did the small cap recap. So this is holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart like a dang T. So I'm thinking here, are we due for a pullback? I'm not really sure. It looks awfully strong at these levels. It's looking to take out high, so we're definitely looking at Big Bear. But guess what? I'm looking at SPCE, SMCI. Get it, Adara. And the reason I'm looking at that, because we got into VWAP. This thing's up 7.5% on the day. Apparently, they're putting Blackwell together. Things are good again in wherever this company operates out of. I think it's Silicon Valley. So we're at VWAP right now on SMCI. We just bottoming tailed into $31, and then we bumped up again. We're still putting in, though, lower highs and lower lows. So we haven't changed the trend in that regard quite yet. But I think I'm going to weasel in here with small share size. There we go. Oh, it didn't even let me in. Crap. Why is this thing so spready, bro? All right, there we go. We're going to take the print there. There we go. So now we're long. So I'm going to give this to 15s. Let's go 31 15s, and then we're going to give this one about a 10 penny range to the bottom there. So we're long 43s, Joseph. Let's wet the beak at different incremental levels and see if we can extract some profits off SMCI for a VWAP hold. Let's see how that one does. Okay, back over to SLXN before we send it back to Joseph. Just got another print there at 66. It topped out at 67. I'm now waiting at 68, and then I'm going to put another order at 70. Joseph, how goes on your side, my man?
Good stuff there. A lot of us in the chat are just talking about some AMD, and just take this in. What I'm about to say is from my perspective. So I mentioned to you guys multiple times, like, yeah, I'm not trading NVIDIA, I'm not trading this and that. But that's just due to my style, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this. So a stock like AMD, you're not going to get that buyer exuberance, as Shreve likes to say, and the pops aren't that strong. Okay, so in my opinion, it doesn't fit my system, right? So the best thing to do for your trading system is to avoid the things that are not working and have proven continuously not to work. AMD for me is one of those, and so was NVDA for a long period of time when it was stuck in that consolidation phase. So just forget about those stocks, right? And then find things that are working for your system. Look for relative strength. I mean, if you're a short seller, then by all means, this is what you want to trade. AMD and the likes of some of these other weaker stocks. But for me, AMD and NVDA were not equal to my playbook, and it wasn't working for me. So it's best that you just forget them and then find stocks that are working for you. It may take some time, and you will take some losses in between that just to figure out, hey, this isn't working. And then you just go and you look for relative strength somewhere else in the market, because as Jimmy Cramer likes to say, there's a bull market somewhere, and you just got to find it. And that's part of your day job, I think, if you want to be a permanent trader. So if you want to be a trader, you got to find where stocks are strong and avoid the ones are not. Like, I know AMD is a really popular name, but let's get real here, man. This is the chart. Unless you're a perma bear, that thing sucks in my opinion. So I'm just, yeah, it does, man. So it's not something that I would be looking to trade. So look to implement that into your system if you're looking to just avoid things that aren't working for you. So find what's not working, and that's why we do the data collection as well too. Imagine we did a trade taking long AMD every day at 1 o'clock. Chances are we would be negative. So what do we do from that standpoint? See you later. Like, we're not trading you anymore. So that's just how I think about it, and that's just over my years of experience of what I've learned. If I want to be more consistent, then that's what I have to do. I got to find things that are stronger and that equal to my trading system. So AMD will break above 110. I mean, yeah, it's trading now, but is it going to continue tomorrow? Is it going to continue the next day? And that's what you need to ask yourself, guys. But here we go. In some Google, starting to recover here. We didn't get stopped out, so looking pretty good thus far. I think at this point, if the market continues to rally, I mean, that volatility is really starting to step up here in the market. So I think that we can get a breakthrough Google, especially with some, especially if we round about. What do we got over here?
Neil, man, he's enjoying that.
Oh man,
way too
wow,
much.
pull it up, bring it over here,
bro. That reaction was 100.
Okay.
Get it, Neil.
Sean just did the what's for lunch. I don't even remember what kind of chicken is, some Indian spice or whatever. It is ridiculous. It is so good. I don't mean to do this to you guys because I know, like, maybe you're trading and you're not eating right now. I got my lunch in front of me.
Don't worry about that.
But it is absolutely delicious. And on top of that, let me try to show you this too. It's like the salad. It's got like this little stuffed chicken in my salad. It's kind of. Can you see that?
Oh, they can see it.
Stuffed chicken, some like.
Just make sure it doesn't
some
fall,
like cooked
though.
onions in there on the salad. Yo, they're stepping up their game today, so I'm enjoying it right now. I mean, and it came early. Like, usually it's a little bit closer to lunch, so I'll be nice and fed for the lesson of the day. And the lesson of the day is hit the like, hit the subscribe, because the more you grow the show, the better food we get to eat. And you know I'm always hungry, everybody. I'm always hungry. I'm born. I was just telling Brankles, man, with the rehab and everything, like getting in some more activity, so I'm always hungry. So,
Yeah.
no, seriously, hit the
I
like and
love it,
subscribe
man.
because we have a great community out there. This chicken really is good. I'm just throwing it out there.
Ram's like, I still got raw tuna. Help! It's because you're mean to the lunch lady, like you're mean to
we
everybody
get it
else,
there.
Ram. That's why. All right, guys, we're doing real well on
can't-
SPCE over here.
we can't
just
be doing that,
popped
man.
up into the $0.75, Joseph. So please, as dang punch with this trade, as Adara always says. Let's throw. We don't even have any orders right now, Joseph. So we're gonna throw something in the mid 90s here, come what may. I think we took out a 60 penny level that I perceive to be maybe as a little bit of resistance. There's a lot of interactions here with 60 pennies. Now we're squeezing into 70s. Let's see what this one does. Definitely holding on to some shares here. Joseph, did you see this? Adara sent this to me.
No.
There's a new bill targeting your friend Elon. He's raising the ire of people in Washington, Joseph. They don't like what he's doing.
No.
Okay? He's cutting too much. He's sticking his nose in places where they don't want it, Joseph. And so here's what's happening. So non-petty are they that they didn't name the new legislation after him at all. So it's not called, where the hell is the name of this thing? Where is this, Adara? Eliminating looting of our nation. In other words, ELON, Eliminating Looting of Our Nation Act by mitigating unethical state kleptocracy. Elon Musk, M-U-S-K. This is hilarious, dude. I don't even want to read the bill. I think
petty,
reading the bill would ruin like this. This is hilarious, bro. All right, eliminating looting of our nation by mitigating unethical state kleptocracy. I'm just throwing it out there. It's a nice little bill there. We'll have to see how it ends up doing. Joseph, here we go. We're gonna get taken out on SPCE, and there is the trade. We get printed at 94s. Pleased as dang punch with this trade. Let's see what it does with 32. We're still holding on. No, actually, we're out of this trade. So let's see what we do at 32. So SMCI, guys, moving back to the high side. Hamada, look, it's not funny what Elon is doing, plain illegal. Brother, I didn't really want to get into the whole thing. That wasn't the point. The point was just to really show you the name of the bill. I get, he's really aggravating a lot of people that don't want to see the cuts and him sticking his nose in, government data because they feel there may be conflicts of interest, and they may have a point. But that wasn't really what I was trying to tell you about that. What I was trying to tell you is the name of the bill was quite funny. All right, so we're still holding on to some SLXN here, Joseph. It's zigging and zagging. We got the print at 66, but we're still waiting for the move to the high side.
Hey, good luck there. BBA. I know a lot of people in the chat are going on about this thing, so we're going to pull it up and see what we got going on with Big Bear. Continuing to the top side, guys, looking really well. So, I mean, wow, we're up quite a bit. Let's see what we got from a percentage metric off these lows, folks. On BBAI, so up 31%, a little bit more than that on the session. So that trend seems to be intact. A lot of bottoming tail candles here. So can there potentially be some more top side on this thing? Wow. Okay, we're gonna zoom out here and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. Big Bear AI just absolutely blowing through some key resistance levels. Printing a new, is this all-time high, folks? Oh, we're almost, no, not even close to there. But I mean, we're a big-time recovery on this thing. So if you guys have been involved in this for quite some time, then congratulations to you. This thing looks like it's working really well, especially on today's session. Look at that price expansion here, guys. So that average true range really starting to pick up here in Big Bear AI. So, I mean, good look there from everybody who's been trading this. I personally, these stocks that are under like $15, I usually don't look at them enough. But I mean, with this quantum coming in with Rigetti and all these other companies and Big Bear AI, how could you not? So really good look there. Maybe we'll look for some continuation on this thing another day. But as for today, I don't think I'm going to be trading it unless we have a potential short signal on the intraday time frame. So what I would look for up here, guys, if we were extremely extended, I would want to see somewhat of an inverted hammer or somewhat of a hanging man candle with an isolated volume signature to take this thing back down. But as of right now, it's not looking like the shorts are going to show up today. So keep those pants on, I guess, and continue to hold this position here on Big Bear AI, guys. Let's also see what we got going on with Google. We're rejecting VWAP once again, but Apple is continuing to climb higher, as well as the broader markets here too, folks. So, I mean, those putting in a new high a day, this might drag Google up with it. So, as well as NVDA, and I was talking to some of the boys this morning, and I'm like, referring to Apple, I'm like, okay, yeah, iPhone sales aren't doing the best in China. They're down year over year or whatever it may be. But these guys have 98 billion in free cash flow. So that's saying essentially after everything is said and done, CapEx and everything along those lines, these guys have 100 billion in free cash. That's essentially unlimited money. So no wonder this thing always gets continued to get bought up. And the same thing with Google. They got around 50 billion in free cash flow and all these top names. So when you have that much money on the sidelines to do whatever you please with, these companies just get bought back up, and that's the reason why they're the top of their class, I think, Sharif.
Well said, Joseph. I mean, that's I think pretty much the reason.
Yeah.
They don't have to go into the debt market to raise money at higher rates. They got their own cash, which is why small caps get smashed in higher rate environments. That's kind of the look. Guys, Neil just called out Meta to me, and he's got a bang-on call there. It looks like we defended 700. Obviously, we did wick below. We went to 699.01, but we're well above that now. Meta, kind of V-shape retracing off that 700 breach. So keep your eye out on this one. The closing print on Meta, we're negative on the day technically. It's about 704 and a quarter. So we're still below that level right now. Meta still negatory on the day, but a great recovery off that $700 touch and bounce. So we're going to keep an eye on Meta here. And chat, you guys know these sometimes these derivative products. Is there a Meta, like a cheaper version of Meta that I can trade? I know that there was one.
Yeah.
Say that again, Adara. FBL, Facebook long. I like it. There it is. Thank you, Adara. The volume on this monster, okay.
It's not the most liquid. It's not too liquid either.
It's a 4 penny spread, but I think it's probably a lot better than the 110,000 penny spread on Meta. No, I'm kidding. Keep an eye on this one. So FBL, if you want to trade a bit of a cheaper product and indirectly trade Meta, obviously, but keep in mind that it's done about 500,000 shares, so it's a little bit less liquid. I'm keeping an eye on Meta here. I could absolutely be persuaded to weasel into this trade. Good luck right now, because we know Meta's been a dang rocket ship. Just because it's down on the day doesn't mean a whole lot. It's been putting in higher lows and higher highs for the better part of a while now, Joseph. SMCI is taking out 32, and so this is the level that I want to look at right now, because there was a lot of interactions with 32, and so far still on SMCI, Joseph, we have lower highs. So we have that area crest above 33, then we have that 32, and let's say a third, a quarter, and now we're trying to work above 32. So that lower high, lower low situation that we've been in for the past, I don't know how long, almost hour, could change if we put in that higher high right now. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on SMCI, see if we can weasel into this trade. Let's have a look at SLXN. It's doing bupkis right now, to be honest with you. We'll talk more about that when we get back from Adara at the big desk.
I think given all the Elon Musk talk we just had, I think it's a good time to debut our brand new TTV research graphic here, and it just got posted on X. This has to do with the many businesses that Elon Musk has involved himself in over the years, because there is a lot of talk from market participants that, will Elon Musk be able to focus on Tesla given all the business he's been involved in? But he's really always been busy in that regard. So I had this graphic here. You get to see the revenue in gray and the stock price here in this white line, how this has grown despite all of the many interests here of Elon. So we had this, we're starting here with the IPO 2010, first year that we get the revenue and the stock price at year end. And I mean, in 2015, we had the co-founding of OpenAI and the first ever successful first stage landing for SpaceX. We had Neuralink, we get the Boring Company, we get the purchase of X for $44 billion here, formerly known as Twitter. We get Neuralinks. There's a lot here along the way here, including his new appointment as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency. And yes, that is his actual logo, just this dollar sign. So if you want to look at all of Elon's many business interests alongside the growth of Tesla as a company, take a look on X at TTV Research. I just thought it'd be interesting to look at this because there have been a lot of concerns like, will Elon be able to focus? And he's clearly been doing that and then some over the last 14 years already. So interesting stuff. Take a look at that, guys. Back to you.
Get it, Elon.
Go. You gonna blackmail me with money?
Hi, Bob.
Yeah. You're gonna
Bob.
You're gonna
You
black
should've
me.
seen, like, Sorkin was like
You're
a
gonna
deer in the headlight.
You're gonna blackmail
Like, what do I
me.
do?
You're gonna
What do I
blackmail
do?
me with money.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff. But yeah, guys, here we go. Big Bear AI still climbing higher. NVDA also putting in a new high day as well, too, folks. So looking really well, dragging the overall market with it, and some heavy volume just came into the SPY as well, guys. So let me know if you've seen, you see what I'm looking at. But we took a little bit off here, trimmed a little bit. So as Sharif liked to refer to as just wet in the beak there on that trade. So here we go. Let's continue to monitor some of these strong stocks, and hopefully Google will really start to pick up some steam. I think if we can break 190 and that volume steps in, we're going to get somewhat of a recovery here on the session. In Google, still down about 8%. So, I mean, I think there's a long way this thing can go to the top side. I think it's going to continue to climb, even though right now it may not seem it. We had this really tight consolidation phase here, guys, where I was just chopping around in this range, and it's quite orderly for a consolidation phase, but now heading into that 188 where there's some key support, so be aware of a potential lick grab, but then this thing just continuing to move to the top side. So yeah, like I mentioned, man, just the free cash flow on these companies is just too high. You got to buy the dips on them, and I think eventually they'll just start to recover and climb higher. There's too much going on for Google. There's so many things for Google. I don't even know all the companies and everything that they're involved in. Like, it's just like I forget a couple of them. It's like, oh yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that. So yeah, that's what I think about Google and companies.
All right, let's talk a little bit. Say that again, Neil. NVIDIA, 120?
Yeah, 124.
124 incoming right now on NVIDIA. High a day. It's up 4.5%. 123.99 HOD. Let's bring in the side chart and chat about it. I was going to talk about Google's earnings. Well, we can do that later when things slow down a little bit. But there it is, NVDA, baby. It's having itself a day right now. So we're still dancing with that 144, but it's been one hell of a pattern. I mean, you guys called it out in the chat when we went live on the show. Right at 8:30, this thing was really moving, and it was taking out the pre-market high there, yesterday's high at 121 and let's say a quarter there. That was the yesterday high, so we break through that. We've been looking higher highs and higher lows. It's an aggressive upward channel. It's been getting farther and farther away from VWAP, and what I mean by that is each successive trough, which is the pullback, is a little bit higher and higher away from VWAP. There goes 124, 124.05, up 4.5%. Keep your eye out on this one. There's many different derivative products. And I don't mean options when I say derivative, guys. I mean like other kind of ETF leverage products that you can trade NVIDIA with. There's NVDL, NVDS, NVDX. There's a bunch of them. A quick Google search or go into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever the hell you want to do, and you can find out all about those ones. Okay, so we're doing really well right now. I'm pleased as dang punch, as Adair likes to say, on SLXN. Adair, we just took out the high of the day there, so we're looking now at 175. It's time to wet my beak here, Joseph. There, we'll take out some there on SLXN. I'm also involved right now in Aurora Cannabis. Now, let me tell you, my 525 didn't fill. So this one started getting away from VWAP and Aurora Cannabis, so I punched in at 29s. It did give me an opportunity to get in at 26, but it didn't hang out for that long. So I've got small share size here, and that kind of disappoints me a little bit, but we'll try to we'll do with the best we can on this name. So taking out some at the top there on SLXN. Shout out to Pretty Panda, who brought this to my attention, but I told him I was already involved. Pretty, you got to look at the position board, my man, because it showed that I was involved in this one. So that's what we're looking at right now. Dang it, BBAI is on one, Neil. It's about to take out $7, up 40 dang %. Big Bear AI, no small cap gapper. I think this is, now north of $1 billion, is it? It was north of $1 billion. Yeah, 1.7 billion we're talking about. So this ain't no small cap gapper, but it's trading certainly like one. Lots of volume on Big Bear today. We've got 108 million shares traded, and we haven't even hit noon yet. So there's ample amount of liquidity on this name. Keep your eye out on that one. Okay, so here's what SMCI did. Sorry to jump in between these, but I'm trading all of them at the same time, so I do have to manage them. So I was waxing poetic about this lower high getting broken. That's what happened. Look what we did over here. We broke the pattern of lower high. We put in a perfunctory high there of 32.40 and change, but then we're coming back down into 20s. Is this the hold? I mean, Is this, just price action that people are seeing because we're coming into a resistance area, and then so you're getting some sell? So I'd like to punch in back into SMCI at this level over here, but it's not giving me that continuity above this area high. So let me think about that. When we're up big right now on SMCI, man, 10 and a quarter. It's not like the old days when this thing would move easy double digits on a daily, Joseph. But yeah, I'll keep my eye on this one. I don't have to jump into it too quickly.
Hey.
So that's what I'm looking at right now. What do you got?
So yeah, guys, Google, wow, absolutely just breaking through VWAP, as I mentioned. It looked like it was going to do, and this thing's starting to recover. So we're just trimming as we continue to appreciate. We were down over 8%. Now we're only down about 7.8%. So climbing higher is Google. Watch out for these key resistance levels here around that 190.20 level. But as of right now, this thing's starting to cook up really, really nice. And I do think it's only a matter of time until we start to recover. But we have a $2 super chat. What do we think about Tesla? Average in 380. Okay, now I was talking about this earlier. I feel like Tesla's like somewhat of a wind-up toy, right? Like you wind this thing up, it gets going and it's going for a period of time, but then when it dies, it's like absolutely dead. And I think Tesla is something along those lines, right? Like you can see that this monster run that we went on since November, and then especially after the election, but now we're just slowly starting to dwindle, heading towards some key support levels. I mean, we missed it. It didn't have the best earnings, and a lot of this is like pricing in like what robo-taxi may or may not be, right? Because it's still a couple years away, and at this point, it seems Waymo seems to be leagues ahead of this thing. So I might have a little bit of an issue here with Tesla. It is one of my larger holdings in the long term, but I'm also positioned really well in this, so I can hold on through some of this volatility. But as of right now, in my opinion, Tesla is kind of like that AMD play. I'm not going to put it on the same scale of it, but it's just not overly in play. A lot of choppy days. That average true range is really starting to tighten up, so you're not getting those buyers stepping in and getting those really big sessions. I think we're going to need some news catalysts in this thing to get it going again. I do think it will, especially with Elon's doing with Doge. But I mean, at this point, do you really want to be trading it down here? Sure, you could be selling some covered calls or doing whatever. But from an intraday perspective, I think there's better vehicles to trade, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about that.
Oh, yeah, I definitely 100% agree with that. Yeah, no question about that. All right, guys, let's talk about this earnings report here, because we're involved in a trade, but we're going to let both these trades cook right now. So Alphabet's earnings were quite interesting. So they had a revenue beat, right? Which was, a revenue miss, excuse me, which we're talking like peanuts when we're looking at the overall number. 96.47 billion is what they brought in. The street wanted 96.56. So you can kind of get the idea there. Very small miss. The earnings per share, though, they beat. So they were able to shore up costs and keep things under control. They printed 215. The street wanted 213. Net income, guys, they took home in profit. This is profit. $26.5 billion on the quarter. What are we doing wrong, Joseph? We need to be making this kind of money, obviously.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
Right? So that's a lot of money to take home. That's profit. Good look there. YouTube ads continues to grow. A little bit shy of $10.5 billion in revenue. The street was looking for 10 and a quarter. So that's a decided beat right there. It's the cloud, and I put that in green, that missed, because Google has been consistently taking market share away from Azure, away from AWS. Not market share, but sorry, that's the wrong way to phrase it. They were growing at a faster rate than AWS and Azure, because, well, those two platforms were kind of already a bit more mature. Google Cloud was more the newer entrant, obviously. That missed, 11.96 billion. The street had a lofty expectation of about 12th and a 5th. They did grow, though, 30% year over year, but when we juxtapose that to, I think, what Amazon or Microsoft grew, I think they were at 33 or 32. So technically, they're outgrowing Google now, even though Google is the third largest. Traffic acquisition cost, they were able to print a little bit less than what the street was looking for. Advertising growth revenue, though, this was not a good look. It slowed to 10.6% for this year. Compare that to a year ago, and it was growing at 11. This is the bread and butter of their business, advertising revenue growth. So it's slowing down. It's not negative, but it's slowing down in terms of in terms of growth. To build on your point, Joseph, investment plan, that AI, that CapEx, baby, they want $75 billion. So a bit halfway in between Microsoft and in between Meta. So they're kind of in the middle ground there. The street was looking for 58 and 4/5. So way, way higher than what the street was looking for. There you can see all the information. The Waymo expansion, though, Joseph, this is really interesting. They're going to expand to LA, San Francisco, Phoenix. They're going to launch in Austin and Atlanta. They even got Tokyo in their sights. We're talking about the Jaguar I-Paces that are retrofitted to fit their model. I don't think they're profitable. And I think the I-Pace and all the gizmos and gadgets they got to throw on there cost a lot of money. So, yeah, I don't think that they're going to be as profitable as Tesla with the streamlined robotaxi. So that's just kind of my look there. Now, Google's announcement yesterday had the effect of bringing up Broadcom. And we watched that in real time yesterday on the Market Recap Show. We saw Broadcom spike when Google dropped their earnings, despite the fact that Google stock was going down. What the hell is happening?
Let's go, Google, man.
Get it?
Yeah, let's go, man. It's
Are you
buzzing.
long goggles?
Yeah, I'm long goggles,
Joseph?
man, from 189.45.
That's a monster trade.
Yeah,
there,
let's
brother.
go, man. I told you it was going to pop. 30%, sorry to go back a little bit here, but 30% year over year growth in cloud, and you're going to sell the stock off? Come on. Yeah, CapEx is a little high, but these guys are 30% year over year. If any other company did that, they'd be soaring.
Tell those analysts,
Yeah,
Joseph.
tell them, man. That's why you buy the dip on these things.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you. All right, guys, so when we were talking about Broadcom moving up when Goggles was releasing their earnings, there's a reason for that. So we know Google has their own proprietary AI chip. It's called the TPU, the Tensor Processing Unit. It's not NVIDIA that's making those TPUs. It's Broadcom. So they're expanding their business dealings with Broadcom. So it seems Broadcom apparently can grow about $60 to $90 billion in more serviceable market from the likes of Google, who they're doing business with now, but they're also expanding possibly into Meta, ByteDance, Apple, and OpenAI. So Broadcom really, they're back above $1 trillion, and so they're looking to expand some of their business dealings with Google and the like. So that is how Google did yesterday. There was more I can say about Waymo because that overlapped with Uber's with report as well, because they were talking about how they were going to do things with Google there. Okay, so let's go back to some trading now. We're in SLXN. So this one dropped in a VWAP, but I did have an order waiting at the volume weighted average price, and I got filled at 56s. That's why my cost basis dropped from 61 to 58. So we're in the money, but we're not taking any out here. Let's go ahead and take out some right over here because it popped. Nice move there. We'll layer some orders on this bad boy to see if we can catch some spikes on this you-know-what. All right, back now to ACB. This is at VWAP. So I've already put my stop below 510. It's going to have to hold up here. Now, VWAP may not feature here. If it doesn't feature, I'm looking at 5. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Oops, I just got to do like this. 1 second, because I just updated my platform today. Restore it. There we go. Okay, so let's bring in the side charts, and let me show you what I'm looking at. So we've got VWAP that was holding up at least on the way up. It may not hold up here though. If it fails VWAP, I'm out at 510, but I'm looking at getting back in at 5. The reason I'm looking at 5 is not just because it's the whole dollar and it could be psychological support, but you have a double top rejection at $5 in the earlier trading day. That's the kind of the pre-market high. We got into $5. We couldn't do any better than $5. So if we come into that level, that's the pre-market high, and I'd like to be able to weasel in there. All right, let's throw some orders now that we've got a bigger size here on ACB. And yeah, let's throw those out there. We'll see what we get. All right, and we won't get upset. Joseph, what's your look on that die?
Yeah, I'm just talking with Nakul in the chat. He's asking me, Joe, MSTR reports today. Do you think I should close my bull put spread, considering we were talking about spreads yesterday, today and reopen after earnings? That's a tough play, man. You got, again, I can't manage your account for you, but what we can do is we can just talk about it. Like, how much in the money are you, and are you willing to give up some of those gains if MSTR decides that it wants to move to the top side, right? I mean, we heard Neil say, we know what their business plan is over there at MSTR, so And this guy's just raising an extreme amount of money and just buying more Bitcoin. So that's a tough one for me. I don't know if I would, like, MSTR isn't something I'd be looking to play, to be honest with you. And that's just me. I would rather just get involved with spot Bitcoin itself at that point. But just ask yourself, like, if you're in the money on that trade, are you willing to accept the fact that, hey, it may go more in your favor? Or are you willing to accept the fact that, hey, I have gains here, but I could potentially lose them? And then whatever you weigh out the pros and cons of those and then just accept whatever one you favor most, I think. If you have multiple contracts, I mean, the classic saying, no one's ever gone broke taking profits. So, I mean, do that and maybe you'll be happy if you have multiple. But again, I think that's really up to you on what you want to do and where you stand in that position. So also expiration is key too. If you don't have that much time, maybe walk away with some of the money that you have or close half of that position. That's just my opinion. I know I've been talking about it. I closed some of my IBIT position the week before, and you know what? I'm at peace, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy that I sold that, locked in some nice gains, and then waiting for the next trade. And what do? We buy some NVDA at 118. I mean, there's always going to be another trade, guys. So don't get too attached to those positions. Official Unburdened and I were talking. It's like, yeah, just lock in those gains and find that next trade because they will appear. Just like Google, I know 2NY was talking about, hey, I just grabbed some more Google down here as well, too. So congratulations to you on that one, 2NY Cent. So appreciate that look. But guys, Google's just roaring. And we were talking about this not too long ago here. I said, if we break through VWAP, I think that volume's really going to step in and we're going to start to recover on the session. So we're only about negative 7.3% now on the session. So I like this look here on Google. And yeah, no problem, Nakul. Hopefully you take some profit and then just reassess the situation, man. You can always find another trade and probably a better one at that, brother.
Absolutely. Well said, Joseph. All right. Keeping an eye on these trades right now. I was able to take out some profits here on ACB at 30s. I'm layering the orders. It's whiffling. It's waffling at VWAP. It's not giving it up, but it's not bouncing off it either. So we're not out of the woods. We're going to have to see how this one trades. Also, SLXN, still above VWAP, but I am concerned now with this break of the higher low situation. So here, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then it kind of all falls down right over here. So going to keep an eye out on this one. My out is the breach of the area low. The area low was put in at 1050 and the low there, 151. So we're going to have our stop at 149 on SLXN. Profitable on it, but definitely looking at doing a little bit better right now. What else we got over here? What else? Yeah, Big Bear AI. Okay, so this one breached $7. This is my missed trade of the day. I mean, I don't know why I wasn't punching in on this. I have this sick compulsion that I need a pullback in order to get in. You're getting one right now. So Big Bear AI breached 711, the high of the day. Shout out to Sev. 672 is where the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart is hanging out. And this has been very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average all morning. Now, we've got a topping tail candle, though, on the 5 that looks a little bit ugly.
I just shorted it.
You shorted Big Bear AI?
Because of that topping tail candle. I like that you're talking because I've seen it too. I mean, if it breaks the high, then we're at a dodge, right? But I like that for a potential topping tail.
Okay. There you go. Joseph short right now, the big beared one. And, well, we're going to wish him luck because, well, I'm not involved in it, so I don't feel bad taking the opposite side of the trade. But it's still holding at the 10 exponential moving average with a 711 high. Let's see how this bad boy ends up trading. Still looking at ACB for this one to hold at the volume weighted average price. Looking for that curl, not forthcoming quite yet. How's my man SLXN doing? We're still basically flat on the trade right now. Having already taken profits, obviously, but waiting for it to either bounce or give me that 152 add. But again, my stop goes below 149 on this. Let's see what else is moving because there's other names, obviously, that are moving on the day. SMCI, we mentioned, up 8.5%. AMD obviously got shellacked on earnings, but it has been putting in a decent trend, especially off the lows. This one is short sale restricted. So it's kind of harder. I don't want to say it's impossible, obviously, because nothing is impossible to short when it is SSR. So sometimes we get what we call an SSR bounce. I know Neil has an entire trade built upon that. So we'll keep an eye on AMD. It's above 110 right now. So it's taking out the whole dollar. It's taking out the $10 level. It's on its way up to 10 and a quarter. To go green, though, we got to get up to the lofty price of about 119.5. We'll see where this one ends up topping out. The 200 exponential on the 5 is at around 111, a little bit less than 111. So that's what I'm keeping my eye out on right now, Joseph. Shout out to Ozan. You're killing me, Ozan. Anytime I see your name in the chat, you're always yelling the same thing. Ozan Keeley. Is it Seeley or Keeley, Ozan? Let me know. Shout out to you. Joseph Wilson. What's on your side of the desk?
No, you know what? BK Stoney just mentioned something curious, Sharif. So we're going to have to modify our bet a little bit here, all right? So this is how I think this is my proposal to you, okay? So we'll read what he said first. So here's why Sharif's bet is better than Joe's. If Sharif wins, IBIT will be at higher, so he will receive more money from Joe than if he loses because IBIT will be lower.
We're not modifying the bet, Joe.
Bro, what do you mean? No, we have to modify.
We shook on the bet.
No, we shook
twice.
Okay, yeah, but dude, we have to modify.
The contract's been executed.
No, we have to. No, it's a smart contract. No, we're gonna modify the smart contract. We're gonna modify it here. No, but if I'm right, you have to pay me the IBIT as if it were to be at 125K.
I'm not doing that.
What do you mean?
The contract has been signed, sealed,
crazy.
delivered, Joseph.
PK Stoney, you just caused complete chaos because you're absolutely right in this one. I think we need to do that. We're going to have to get some lawyers in here now.
Bro, when you go to the dealership, you strike a deal for the car, you think you got a good price.
Okay.
You get home, all of a sudden on your phone, you get a notification that there's a cheaper version of your car.
Yeah. So I'm bringing it back.
You already signed, bro.
30 days, bro.
No, there's no 30 days. There's no cooling off period in Ontario, bro.
All right. I see that. So is that how it's going to go? You get it at the price of 125, and then I get it at... I just think at 125, so if it's not above 125, then I get it at the price of as if it were to be at 125, because you would get it at the price of 125, right? So
how about we kind of split the difference?
Okay.
So how about we do a range from 100 to 125? We'll take 112.5.
Okay.
How about that?
I'm cool with that.
112.
Yeah, I'm a fair player, man.
Okay. All right. Look, we can change this. I get what you're trying to say. What you're saying makes sense.
Yeah.
What you're saying makes sense. But hey. We signed it.
we signed it. The smart con. You can't go back on the smart contract, guys. All right, so here we go. Good times, man. Jordan,
we're having a good time.
Yeah, great time. Yeah. We're just trimming some off Google here as well, guys. But let's take a look at this Big Bear AI trade that we got going on. Because as soon as Sharif mentioned it, I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get involved in this thing just now. And then sure enough, let's see, BBAI, oh my days, tab, NY. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I was thinking on this, was that topping tail candle up there. And I said, we have definitive risk now, right? Like if it breaks the high, we're going to get out of dodge on that trade. So, but as of right now, Sharif, looks like we're working. That topping tail candle seems to be in play. We're up about 38% on the session. I don't know how deep this pullback is going to be, but we'll take it as far as we can and just slowly peace out as this thing continues to move to the south side. So, but a lot of people were saying that the short float in this thing is pretty high. So, very interesting stuff where it's only a matter of time that will tell if we're either going to continue higher or continue to the southeast.
Yes, sir. Man. All right. Let's have a look at what else is moving over here. Well, my stocks ain't moving right now, except the fact that ACB still holding up at the volume weighted average price. That's the good side. The bad side is we're continuing to put lower lows and lower highs. So I am concerned a little bit about ACB holding up at VWAP, but my plan stays the same. If it breaches that 510, I'm out, that 505 area, which is the area trough, I'm out, but I will be looking at that $5 to hold up because that was the pre-market high. It did reject that level in the pre-market. We'll have to talk more about that though. Quickly, we'll send it to Adara, but I want to shout out Nick Dub, OG, Super Chat $9.99. Wanted to show the channel some love, sitting on a big winner on BBAI. Target is $10 to $12. Love AEYE and serve SERV for their swings. Shout out to Sharif. Thoughts on SERV compared to Sound on daily? I will give you my opinion on that, Nick Dub. We're just going to throw it to Adara, and we'll get back and talk about that.
This part of the show is brought to you by Prop for a Match. Are you a skilled trader but lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. So scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. And no matter where you're trading, if you were able to kind of get this push to the upside, it's a great look here for the NASDAQ. This is a 15-minute chart. We have not had a red candle in now 5 candles. So great look for the NASDAQ, going from sharply red to green on the day. SPY also green on the day, though slightly less so. And of course, a lot of the weakness in the NASDAQ was initially inspired by 2 earnings misses, or I guess poorly received reports. That would be Google and that would be AMD. Tonight we get even more earnings. We've got Amazon's tomorrow. We have ARM, Qualcomm, Ford tonight, so stay tuned for that. We also had some Fed speak. We're going to get a little bit more here at 2:30 p.m. with Fed's Goolsby, and then I get at 3 p.m. with Fed's Bowman. But Fed's Barkin here basically saying that he thinks the economy is in a state where it's pretty healthy right now. We're going to have to wait and see if that stays the case. But good look for the markets today. And also a lot of these tickers having this pretty interesting move. This is Oklo. A lot of these nuclear names were really strong. I saw no catalyst beyond the fact that they just have really, really large short floats and a lot of people interested. But yeah, I mean, we get this push to the downside, I guess ending around 11 a.m. and then they push higher. We got Palantir looking pretty similar there, though Palantir is rejecting a little bit still, as was MSTR. So this drop and rebound is the story we're seeing with a lot of tickers right now. Be aware of that pattern because it's certainly happening in the market today. But you know what else is happening? As mentioned, earnings. This is our earnings graphic here from TTV Research on X. Tonight we do have ARM, Ford, Qualcomm, and Symbotic, which recently got a move in a Walmart-related deal. MSTR as well here. I was seeing they were supposed to report yesterday, but they're reporting today. But then tomorrow morning, also a pretty big earnings day. We have Peloton, we have Hershey, we have Roblox, we have Eli Lilly, we have Tapestry, and we have Philip Morris International as well as Honeywell. So check out those earnings. We will give you all the details on those. And in the meantime, we're going to give you Neil and his lesson of the day. No longer eating a chicken wing, maybe. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. The lesson of the day is always read the fine print. And, okay, not really, but I have to opine on the little bet that Sharif and Joe have going on there. And you know what? Kudos to Sharif for splitting the difference there and deciding that he wants to do that. But, you know, whenever you get into any endeavor, like, look, let's say you make a trade, right? And you think you cross in with an aggressive limit order on a breakout trade, breaking out at $100, and you cross $1 for the spread, and you're thinking you're going to buy like 101 cent or 2 cent. Like you put a limit order that crossed all the way to 101. If there's a liquidity vacuum, you could get filled at 101. Like that is the price that you bid on that order. Just because it's a ton of slippage and you might not like it, you still put that order in and hit enter. We've all been there. So I'm not harping on Joe or anything. But yeah, that bet, it obviously does favor Sharif. No questions asked. And I get it. It would be a little bit more fair to make an adjustment so that the notional is the same in both directions. But life isn't fair. Trading's not fair. Everything is never going to be fair. And that's just how it is. Now, what I wanted to say the lesson of the day is I want to talk about opportunity cost. And A+ and B+ trades and A ideas and B ideas. The day is going to constantly change, and what started out as the stock that you like the most doesn't necessarily have to be the stock that you like the most by the end of the day. However, there are certain circumstances, I'm going to use NVIDIA as my example today, where if you start out liking a long and you're taking shots at it and you're focused on it, notice how I did not trade NVIDIA from 10 o'clock to 11:40. When you're taking shots at it, okay, it broke trend. Fine, still a stock that I'm focused on. Why am I not trading it when it still holds long, it holds VWAP, it holds high or low, I don't take it till a breakout of 124? Nothing about it stopped being a long trend idea on NVIDIA, yet I got away from it. I'm up on NVIDIA, but then why is it not much better than it could have been? Okay, you could have had a couple of longs in there. That's fine, you can't catch every trade. Here's the problem. Intel, which wasn't a part of my plan. I went over and like everybody was talking about Intel, and you saw me say like 5 times, oh, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal in the short term. Maybe it's going to run into a resistance level and be a fade. So I kind of said to myself, if it's going to do a revert off of here, I like reversion trades. This is going parabolic. I don't like the fundamental part of this move. Let me take a couple of shots at this. Well, focusing on that, get in, stop out, get in. Don't know why I added there. Stop out at the local high. Those are shots that we could have had in NVIDIA if I'm more focused on NVIDIA. And I'm purposefully not talking about Meta off the bottom, which was a win, because that defeats the purpose. The purpose of this is I was looking at chip names, liked the long in NVIDIA, stopped focusing on the long in NVIDIA to go short something else that wasn't even part of the plan. Like AMD, that was part of the plan, so I don't mind trading that. You know, I can take L's on AMD with some shorts, win early, lose late, because we were looking at the 110 level to try. But I never thought about Intel as a short until the news came out. So there isn't a very good reason why I should jump away from NVIDIA, which is on trend and going higher. Where is my offer? Which is on trend and going higher. I was offering on the wrong side of 65. Which is on trend and going higher. To go over to Intel for the mean revert. I like the mean revert, but do it on a stock which was part of the action plan. And that's what you need to be able to do sometimes. If you don't have a reason to get out of a trade, don't get out of the trade. It's still on trend. You're holding it for a break of the trend line. It's holding above VWAP, so why are you stopping going long? Like if you're buying the VWAP dip on NVIDIA, why do you stop going long? It doesn't make any sense. I get it if you're PDT and you can only make one trade. But when you're at a prop floor, you're not. You know, and that's a miss. Probably don't take that one. But those are a couple of missed opportunities because we're not paying enough attention to the stock that was kind of the number one long idea for myself today. There weren't many stocks that set up for longs. There were lots of longs. The NASDAQ is up right now. There were plenty of things that are good longs, obviously. But there weren't many things in the morning that set up that way. And this was textbook. It was trending up. Had a positive story with the CapEx spend on Google. It not only, it did a breakout that failed initially, so you start out in red, but it holds VWAP and prior day high. That's what we like to call confluence, and all kinds of confluence. So you've got to be able to stick with these stocks. It's easy to get distracted by setups that are good, which is fine, but make sure it's better than the thing you were doing before. That's always important. It's easy I don't mind jumping around. I'll take any setup that's out there that's a positive expectancy. But you shouldn't move away from something which is still looking very good and is one of your top ideas of the day. And as always, let me go to this. TNT Frags in the chat just put this in. ARM is going crazy. So I like ARM. Go ARM. I got to pull this one up. ARM is up this much. ARM is going crazy. See, like this is, I wasn't looking at ARM, but this is a perfect example of if you were going long on ARM today, you never had a reason to stop looking at the long. That's what I'm getting at. This is actually a better chart than NVIDIA's chart. So shout out to anybody that happens to be long ARM. Great character from the TV show Cops. I love that show. Long ARM. What was it? Berserko. That's who it was. Berserko. Great character. Thank you, Sharif. But yeah, this is what we're talking about here. Don't necessarily get away from your A+ setups and your best trades when there's just no reason to stop trading them in the direction that they want to go. So there's your lesson of the day. And of course, always read the fine print and know what you're getting into when you make a bet.
There he is, Neil Roberts, every day around that lunch hour. Lesson of the day. Thank you very much, Neil. Eloquent, informative, and awesome as always. Guys, keeping an eye right now on ACB. So CGC is kind of running with ACB. They're both marijuana names. CGC's basically half the percentage up on the day as ACB. It's about 22%. ACB about 43%. So they're both at VWAP. They've both been holding VWAP for going on about 25 minutes, half an hour. But I am concerned a little bit because even though we're getting that VWAP hold, it's starting to look awfully flat bottom breakish. And the reason I say that is because we keep putting in lower highs while defending that 520 area where VWAP is. So I don't think I'm going to stay in the trade for that much longer. We're profitable on it. I don't want to give it back. But keeping an eye on ACB. We'll talk more about that when we get back from Adair at the big desk.
Keep an eye on Meta and Snap here. I'm seeing reports from the Washington Post suggesting that the Chinese owner of TikTok, or ByteDance, I guess here, apparently they seem to be, quote, slow rolling some of these negotiations for a sale, but they're still waiting on confirmation or a green light, the okay there, from the Chinese government. So it looks like there are still some attempts here to sell TikTok. We know they were given 75 days. That was as of January 20th. That happened, so we're going to have to wait and see here. But the time on TikTok is certainly running out, and it seems like they are trying to negotiate this sales deal, guys. Back to you.
This looks like awfully program bias on the dead one.
I agree on that one. Yeah, so Shreve's just showing me some Apple here, guys, continuing to climb higher, looking good. And I was talking about this not too long ago. When you have $100 billion just sitting in free cash there, just buy this thing at any dip possible, in my opinion. So here we go. I mean, like, look, you can see we were put in this really lengthy consolidation phase, and then we broke out. And I think that had a lot to do with just net inflows into the market and Apple being in so many different ETFs. We're going to have to get out of BBAI here, Shreve. I'm going to send it to you for a second.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Big Bear AI, guys, continue. Look, it held the 10 exponential like a dang T. Big Bear AI did have that topping tail candle. I know that's why Joseph got into it, and that's usually a pretty good sign with these names that, you know, sellers may be taking control of the trade. But this one looked like it was just a 2 or 3 candle pullback. It ended up still defending the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and we're continuing on our merry way. This one hasn't closed anything below that 10 exponential, Joseph. I mean, literally actually hasn't. Since in the pre-market, I mean, it started getting going there. The volume started coming in at 9:15, and it really hasn't looked back since. It defended VWAP at times as well. So Big Bear AI is on one today. It's doing the dance right now with $7. Let's see how this one ends up trading. I'm still involved in ACB and SLXN. SLXN straddling VWAP here, but there isn't too much in terms of small cap gappers today. There was RNAS and CPIX. Let's bring those in and talk about them because I was trying to weasel into some of those trades, but they're both below VWAP right now and not tradable under my system. RNAZ, here it is. Let's have a look at this bad boy. So there's the volume weighted average price. We get that big spike up, was up 60, it's up 63% right now, was way higher at the top there, but it gives up VWAP, can't hold it. I can't trade it until it gets back above the volume weighted average price. We'll keep tabs on that. CPIX is the one that was working its way into VWAP. And then it just, you know, looks like it's going to reject it right now. Nice move back up off that $4.40 area, reclaims 5, works its way back up into 5.25, but now we're putting in a red candle and looking like we're going to give back the move above the volume weighted average price. So I'm keeping my eye on CPIX. If it can stay above VWAP, if it can work its way above VWAP, give me a couple of closing prints at least above that level, I'll get involved. The pre-market high for CPIX is around that 485. So we already decidedly took out that level on the pop up into the high of day at 643. So I don't need to worry about my first rule. What I need to worry about right now is my second rule, which I won't trade these small cap gappers as a long south of VWAP. They have to be trading above the volume weighted average price. Otherwise, I just don't get involved as a long. And I don't typically short these small cap gappers at all. Very seldomly. So holding ACB at VWAP, holding SLXN, looking for a spike back up, but none is being had at the moment. I'm keeping my eye on the scanner over here to see what else is popping off, but it's a light day today in small cap gapper world. Now, if you're looking at ACB, you might as well look at CGC as well because that's trading in sympathy with ACB. They're both marijuana names and they're both Canadian companies. Canopy Growth and Aurora Cannabis. So CGC is breaking down below VWAP. It got a spike up, I'm assuming, because it's trading in sympathy with ACB. It is. But Canopy Growth does report, actually. When does this company report? Is expected to show a fall in quarterly revenue when the report comes in February 7th. So CGC reports in 2 days. ACB, I saw somebody asking in the chat, reported this morning in the pre-market, which is kind of why I got that move up in the pre. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're still looking at those names. Let's have a look at the mag. Apple's on one right now, Katina, man. It's putting in higher highs and higher lows. It looks like, I don't know how you feel about this one, Katina, man, but it looks like program buying at this level over here. Apple steadily moving up little by little. You know how Apple trades. It doesn't trade as a parabolic name. Very, very seldomly does it do that. But there, looks like a predictable trade with nary a red candle since 11:15. So it's 12:19 right now. We haven't had a red candle in over an hour. It took out this 230.5 area that we kept rejecting in the earlier time of day. I know the Katina man had a couple of banger shorts off that, but it ends up taking out that level there. And it's continuing on its merry way. Softy as well. Into that high day as it goes at around 413 and change. Yeah, so that's a look right now. NFLX. Oh, baby.
Oh.
Adara, did you see Netflix? Above $1,000 goes Netflix. We'll have to see if it can close out that level because it could not yesterday. So got into about $1,008, and then we gave pretty much all of it back, going down all the way to $978. Netflix, baby. It keeps putting in higher highs and higher lows, Joseph. Good look for Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I like Netflix. I like Netflix for the long term, especially. You know what's going on with WWE and all this live sporting events going on over there, guys. So that is Netflix. But yeah, here we go in some Google. I just took off the shares on here, so the 5 minutes, so you can actually see what was going on and where we entered in at. And here we go, around that 189.20, and then just continuing to the top side, guys. Is Google. So this pullback, I like to see this volume dwindling on the 5 minute, which it seems to be, and on these lower time frames. So we're going to wait for price action to turn back around, and then maybe we can continue to the top side. But Pathik pointed out some valid points here as well. On NVDA, you said, Joe, check out this topping tail candle on the 15. And you're right, brother. I would like to see this a little bit more isolated. But then again, I don't really watch the 15-minute too much, so I don't know how it's going to react. But you can see it happen a couple of times here on the pullback. You get a pullback here on this hammer candle, the inverted one. And then sure enough, we're getting one here as well too, folks. So let's see if we get that pullback into VWAP because this thing has been strong. I was talking to you guys, looking for 125, and we got almost close, 124.69 and change there on NVDA. But I think the market is strong, and if this pullback volume is relatively low, then I think we can continue to the top side. It may be somewhat of a grind, but I mean, nice trending market. We're going to just continue to try and follow it. But guys, wow, good thing we got out of that BBAI. Let's pull it up here. It has now breached those it has now breached those highs that I was referring to. It passed that topping tail candle, so it just blew through that. Now up over 47% on the session. So looking really, really good. Something you don't necessarily want to do is fight those trends unless you get those definitive reversal signals. And even if so, you got to follow those rules because if they don't work out, then you don't want to be caught in bag holding something short when it's just really going parabolic. And that seems to be the case here with BBAI, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Okay, QBTS, guys. Shout out to Jeremy Newman. I'm going to look at that one for you as well. Who was asking me? Ronak. He wants me to look at AMD. I'm going to look at it in a second. But QBTS up and to the right. You have OKLO as well. I know they're different. One's quantum computing, one's energy. But, you know, sometimes they move together because of the relationship with you know, the amount of power needed for the AI. I don't know if it's really quantum related, to be quite honest with you. So QBTS at the high of the day right now, 634, 632. 634 is a high day, trading at 632. This is the 5 minute right now on QBTS. Great look, very directional. You can tell it's holding up at the 10 exponential. A dip buying to the 10. I think this is a good directional trade. When you look at the local area highs, we're above yesterday's high. Looks like we topped out at 6.25, but Monday's high still eludes us. It's about 639, 640, so we could theoretically reject off that local high. I'm talking about QBTS. Let's have a look at the advanced money destroyer. This one reported yesterday. Yeah, it's a bit of a tougher look. I love Lisa Su, man, and obviously I want her to do well. I don't want there to just be one horse in the race. NVIDIA, we've seen Broadcom trying to weasel in the race as well. But AMD just can't get their MI300 produced enough to get any market share. And there's a reason for that. It's because Taiwan Semi-Gang Conductor makes like 80 or 90% of these advanced chips, okay? And they basically, NVIDIA is taking out all their capacity. Now, we know there are new plants coming online in the near future. They're not online yet. Apparently, AMD has earmarked some of their production output for those new plants, so that will be saved for AMD. But until that happens, it's just we can only theorize and speculate about how they'll do. So AMD just can't produce the MI300 despite interest from these hyperscalers. You've got Amazon, Meta, they're all interested in that MI300X that Lisa's got cooking up over there at Advanced the Money Destroyer Labs there. So AMD, look, caught a bit of what we call a short sale restricted bounce. As I mentioned, this is a trade where it's harder to get short because you can only get short on an uptick, meaning you can only punch short once the stock moves up in price. That limits the available time or the ability to punch short. So sometimes you get a bit of an up move, and that's what we got right now. So it's interesting here, this level that we held. So the aftermarket low was about 106.5. And what's funny about that aftermarket low is it ended up also being the pre-market low. So we end up defending that level for whatever reason. That 106.5, 106 2/3 ended up coming into play. And now we're above that 110 area with an 111.61. This has got a good move up. I think that it may have some resistance at around this level over here. I'm talking about that 112.5 to 113 on AMD. So that's a look. All right. We took several outs there on ACB as it did pop off that, what's it called, the volume weighted average price. So we were able to sneak some outs there. I'm still concerned about this one putting in lower highs with a flat bottom at 520, hence why I'm settling for baby moves into the 30s to de-risk a little bit here on Aurora Cannabis. Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. A lot of people are talking about AMD here in the chat. Let's see what I know you're just talking about it, Sharif, but a lot of people are continuously going on. I mean, yeah, trading really well up to about 111. Entering that gap here from, from yesterday and selling off. So starting to fill quite a bit. And when I was watching it yesterday evening, while I was watching Sean, Adara, and Sharif on the show, I'm like, wow, this thing dropped all the way down to 106 and change there. So, remember that show 106 in Park? Is it still on? Is it still on?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good one. But anyway, so it went that low, guys, and now recovering. So, I mean, we talked a lot about it, just saying, hey, and what Brian Shannon said about it as well, too. It's just a dead stock right now, and I'm going to stick with that until it's proven otherwise. So we'll keep it at that. So, yeah, guys, continuing to hold on to some of this Google. You know that we got at a BBAI, so we'll see if we can get a little bit of a rebound. Maybe this is an add up here. I think it is, to be honest with you, on Google. So maybe we'll just dab a little bit there and see what we got going on, and maybe go and test this high again around 190, 150s on Google. So we're going to look for that continuation within the trend there, folks. And go with that, and there we go. So nice little add on that pullback on Google. See if we can get that leg higher. Let's see what we also got going on for top volume on the session, guys. And usually the king of the party is NVDA, and it still is today. We know we had that switch up with Palantir yesterday, putting in a lot of volume, rightfully so, on an absolute blowout earnings report the evening before. So really good look there on NVDA. So 152 million shares traded on the session. AMD in second place with 73.2 and SMCI with 61.7. I know that I was watching SMCI the other evening and it just was popping out of nowhere, and I'm like, that's interesting. And Adara was telling me there's just looming, like rumors about the looming report. So that is interesting to see. But guys, yeah, let me know what you guys are looking at in the chat, and we'll be sure to go over it. Let's see if we can get some of this pullback here on Google. I think that buyers are going to continue to step in. We're still down a whopping 7.5% on the session, and I think a company this good is eventually going to get bought up. Is it going to recover all today? Probably not, but I mean, we can bite in a big chunk out of that and see where we can go from there. We're not close to the pre-market highs or anything along those lines, but we also have to take a look at it from a daily perspective, and we'll do that just now because you can see we're running into some key support levels, which is really important, but we're bouncing off them, and we form this consolidation range in Alphabet here, guys. So I'm bullish on this thing. I think it's a buy the dip opportunity. I know Tom Lee would be like, yeah, it's definitely a buy the dip opportunity in Google and some of these other big names like Amazon as well too, who have been selling off. And Brangles and I were just talking about NVDA earlier as well too, being down to 114. If you could catch those bottoms, I think that's definitely a really, really good long-term play there, my guy.
All right, man. I'm thinking about going long on the dead one Apple right now. And the reason is it's pulling back into the 10 exponential moving average at around 230.75. And I'm simultaneously keeping my eye on the future. And the future is defending. I'm looking at the NQ March contract, just so you guys know. I'm looking at that 21,700 point level, which keeps defending. So we'll see if that level holds up and whether Apple wants to hold at the 10 exponential. I don't feel I need to be first. I don't want to just punch in because it got to the 10 exponential. That's not really the move here. Okay, we need a couple of things. One, I need to see definite proof that the 10 is featuring with Apple. And that has to mean a closing print above that. So that means I'm going to probably miss a little, a better price because I'll wait for confirmation. And number two, I need to see the future hold up above that 21,700. So we're continuing to hold up above it right now. I'm talking about 21,700 on the NQ March contract. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm keeping my options open, not punching long, not punching short. We'll keep an eye out on this bad boy. I'm also looking at the big beared one because it's coming in to that $7 10 exponential as well, 738 HOD, and now it's coming back into 7. It didn't really whiffle and waffle with 7 and use it as resistance or support, mind you. It just kind of went through it. So I'm thinking about how I want to base any trades off this $7 area. 7 happens to be the 10 exponential, which it's been very respectful of on the day. So this could be an entry, if we get in here, we can give it to 7 and then get the hell out if it breaks down below 7. But it's kind of going away from it right now. Yeah, well, whatever. Let this thing do its thing. So we took out more shares there on ACB as it popped up into the 30s again. The reason I'm doing this with ACB is because I really feel that this might be a flat bottom break because of the lower high situation. It's holding VWAP, but I'm not getting anything like an inkling of a higher high. So this concerns me a little bit. Not going to lie about that. So we're taking out shares here to lock in some profits on this bad boy. We'll see what we get there. I'm just going to go long BBAI, and I'm going to put my stop below 7. So we're going to go ahead and put it like this, and then we're just going to risk a little bit over here because I'm not going to sit there and watch this one keep going, and I'm not involved. So we end up losing on it. That's fine. But I have to take a shot over here. So we're going to layer the orders, and obviously it comes back down as I get in. We're going to layer the orders to see if this one pops back up. And then we'll see what we get there. SLXN, I've moved up my stop on this one. We're profitable on it, but I feel this one is, again, very similar to ACB in the fact that it's putting in lower highs with that flat bottom. Let's flip to the 5 so I can kind of make my point there. There it is. So we're kind of putting in this bull flag. I just don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the trade, okay? So we're going to keep an eye out on SLXN. It's going to have to hold VWAP for me to stay involved with this name. All right, back to BBAI. Let's see if this one wants to pop back in, maybe into that $0.25. We'll take out some prints there. We've layered out some orders, but there is some selling now in the high teens, Joseph. So we'll keep tabs on that pretty panda. The chart with the most blast potential is CPIX. I know, brother. I got it up on there. It's up 30%, but it's below VWAP. Yes, I got my tinfoil hat on, and I hit my head a lot in my young days. Got to put the kids to bed. Greetings from the EU. Shut it to pretty dang panda. You made me chuckle there, brother. Hey, what's going on over there? Goggles is moving there, and Katina Man's getting excited.
Yeah,
he's back. How was the sesh, brother? The sesh was good. He got in some swimming. The Katina Man's long 190.50 on Goggles. So get ready, baby. Goggles going all-time highs. The Katina Man's punched in. be ready for that. No, we're kidding, of course. But yeah, Sean, long, Google. He's met with your boy Joe. They're both long on goggles. We're going to wish them the best of luck. Jose.
Yeah, let's go here, guys. We're going to touch on Google, and then we're going to get into some Palantir, Alex Carbon Company, right after we get through here. So here it is. I said, hey, we had that pullback. We waited for price to just slowly start to curl around here, Sharif.
Sir.
And then we just hammered some additional shares into that one. So looking for that climb higher. If we go and touch this pivot high, then we can take the majority of it off and then leave a little bit of a runner to see if we can continue to climb to that 192.
She's a runner.
She's a runner. Who is that guy who's saying that? Yeah, that guy was like Fetty Wap. Remember the run Fetty Wap went on?
Just ask Adara. That's the only thing you really need. Adara will know immediately.
Adara, who does you're a runner, you're a track star?
Oh my God. Who is that guy?
Who's that guy?
He's a runner, she's a track star.
Yeah.
I remember the name of the guy.
That was like his only
That was not
track.
Fetty Wap, though.
That was his only like really good song.
Get it,
and then Fetty Wap went on a monster run as well too, which was fun. But then he went to jail after, which isn't fun. So I mean, here we go. Not like I've been or anything, but here we go, guys, in some Google continuing to climb higher. What I wanted to talk about was Palantir and some interesting signals that we've seen on this thing. So I had to double check and look on this, but what I'm going to refer to is some potential bottoming and topping signals as well, too, at key levels. I always tell you I'm looking for these at extreme highs, extreme lows, and the volume-weighted average price. Muskie, that's his name. Thank you, Ram, for that one. But anyways, guys, here we go. So first you see this, there's a little bit of selling pressure on this hammer candle, but as you can see, for about an hour or so, just continue to sell off, puts in that isolated pivot compared to this prior bar, as the boys like to call it, and then, or the previous candle, but then we climbed all the way to the volume weighted average price sweep, and then we rejected VWAP and put in a gravestone doji. This is a really, really strong short signal. Now, if you were to see that on the other end with a hammer above VWAP with that type of print, you're gonna punch long. And on this type of signal, you wanna take that short, because what happens here, let's break it down. And the reason why I follow what the candle prints do so closely is because I find that each one tells an individual story. And I like to be able to read and say like, hey, what's going on here? So what happened here is we open up this candle and then we push all the way up to VWAP and reject immediately. Okay, and then now we push, and then now we close as a complete gravestone doji or an inverted hammer, whatever you would like to call it, and then you get that pullback down to the downside. So again, these types of candles are really good for a risk profile S-type trades because you play the break of them, but then you also have definitive outs because then it's like, okay, here, I'm using this one candle as my trading thesis. I got an in at the break of it to the downside, and then I got an out at the top of it to the top side, right? So that's my out, and exactly what I just did with Big Bear AI. We were at an extreme high, broke the low, didn't get the move that we were looking for, but as soon as it breaches the high, you got to get out of the trade and reassess the situation because the chances are of it appearing once again are pretty high. So just pack your patience. Don't get too frustrated that it's not working right away or all the time. They will work, and you will find that you will have the ability to take advantage of these trades. So that is somewhat TA on Palantir. Hopefully you guys like that. And then here we go with Google's still climbing higher, kind of chopping around right now, but I do believe we can go and touch 192 on the session, and that's the target that we're going to hold for here, Sharif.
I like it, Joseph. All right, we're taking some prints here on ACB. I'm waiting for that 35s. Let's go. I've been waiting at 35. There it is. We'll take it out at 35. Now we're waiting at 40. So I perceive to be maybe a bit of a trend change here with the lower high. Technically, if you're basing this area as your previous area high, well, then we're still a lower high. But I was kind of looking at this over here where we're kind of incrementally putting in these higher highs. I'm waiting now on 40s on ACB. Let's see how we do there. All right, Big Bear. We take out some at 30. Now I'm waiting at 33s. Let's layer some other orders. I'm going to take out the high of the day. So technically, the high of the day on your Big Bear there is 38s. So how many more outs do we have? So we're going to wait on the north side. We're going to wait at 40s, okay? Let's see if we can get something on the bared one at 40. So good luck right now on some of these names, but we're not out of the woods. I'll submit to you, Big Bear AI looks like a bit of tug of war right now between buyers and sellers. It's not putting in those higher highs and higher lows as aggressively as it was earlier. So I might be, I might have to take the scraps here, so to speak. We're profitable on it right now, but looking to do a little bit better. Keeping my eye on ACB, and I almost got stopped out here of SLXN. And another thing, I had a dip trade here at 152, which was for exponentially larger shares than I typically take on the show. And so I just happened to catch that by accident because I was cleaning up my stop and I saw the dip trade there was for monstrous shares. So happy that I was able to catch that and not make that mistake. So holding on to SLXN, looking for that VWAP hold and a move back higher, but it doesn't look as if it's forthcoming right now. There goes BBAI, Joseph, through that 33s, and now I'm waiting at 40s. Like, we don't have a big winner on it because it took forever for me to get in into this name, but there is some selling now at the third of $1. There goes the third, but there's stacked offers right now at every dang level. We saw some stacked offers at 33s. You're seeing it get at 34s, and there's a whole lot of buying right now. There's a hidden seller at 34s. We're unable to take him out, so we'll have to pack our patience there. Big boy selling at 34s on Big Bear AI. So we'll keep tabs on that. Back down goes ACB into that 30 penny level. I still like the higher low, higher high situation that we could be in.
They smoked their earnings, eh?
Yeah, look at that, eh? Like this guy's taking a page out of the Darren's
You like
book.
that one there, eh? Smoked that one.
Pedro Khan, Sharif, Joe, BBAI. Can you say short squeeze? Say less, my man. Let's bring down trade ideas and have a look at what the short interest is right now on Big Bear. And there it is, Joseph, 21.71%. So your point well taken, Pedro Khan. There's some shortage there for sure. There's a lot of people going short on this name. We'll have to see, whether or not we can get that squeeze. Keeping an eye on SLXN. Here we go. Kind of double bottomed off 55s. It's trying to work its way back into 60s. As you can see, I'm layering my orders for a move back up if one is forthcoming. So we're doing okay. But again, it's a kind of a crappy day to be trading this small cap gappers. There isn't that much to write home about. There isn't that much to execute on, and you're not getting big boy moves like you typically would, or like we've been seeing lately with these small cap gappers. So that has me a little bit concerned, obviously, because that's kind of what I do. I trade these. Here we go. Boom on Big Bear AI. We take out the top there, sir. There goes the high of the day. Now 41s. We get the print at 41, Katina, man. So Big Bear AI. I know you were looking at that one earlier, too. Shout out to the Katina, man. That one takes out the top. And I'll get involved in this, mother, again, if it comes back down, right? Here we go.
Let's go.
So I'm looking here at 710, Katina, man. If we can come back into that level, I'll definitely be putting an order there. So Big Bear AI on one right now, guys. It's up 50 dang % on the day. Wowzer. This isn't a small cap gapper, Joseph. No. It's a billion change, right?
A big boy.
It's a big boy, yeah. No, Joseph, for real though, it's 1.86 billion. We're closing on $2 billion, so we can't really be calling this a small cap gapper. But it's trading like one, Joseph. 50% there. Get it officially unbirded. I love that name. Shout out to you, my man. Love when you're chiming in the chat.
I love Officially, man. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Officially's my guy, man.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So we'll look over here. Still in ACB, looking for this one to curl. Now, we're starting to diverge a little bit here between ACB and CGC, Joseph. So we're getting higher lows and higher highs on ACB. You're not necessarily getting that on CGC. Hence why it's not always the same trade when you're trading a sympathy play that's involved with the main name. And what I mean by that, in case you're a newer trader, when I say a sympathy play, so for example, Aurora Cannabis, well, they sell cannabis, ACB, but so does CGC, and there's a lot of overlap between them. They're both Canadian, they're both involved in retail and medical cannabis. So sometimes when one reports better, you trade the other one in sympathy, with the idea being that because they're in the same sector, they both may benefit, right? But that isn't always the case. And so right now, It looks like CGC putting in those lower lows and lower highs, while ACB kind of trying to curl a little bit over here. So that's the look there. I hear Katina Man keep yelling about goggles, and it is on the way up, Joseph. It's got that 190, 160. I know you're involved in it. You were definitely over $1 in the money there. So we're gonna hit a delayed dollar club for Joseph Wilson, and I know probably the Katina Man's already $1 in the money there. So I didn't want to ask him. He 190.50. The Katina Man's
gonna tap. It's gonna tap that here shortly, I think. Here, Sharif. So here we go.
Sure.
As the tape starts to pick up,
he hit me with it last time, and I never exacted any revenge on Randy because I love Randy, right? What'd you say, Ram? Adara, you heard that? When I file my wrongful law or my hostile work environment lawsuit, I'm subpoenaing.
Subpoena.
See that? Adara is willing to perjure herself for Ram. She just said, I stand by Ram, right? Despite the fact that Ram is constantly engaging in hostile work environment activities. Yeah. Adara, don't perjure yourself. It's not worth it. All right. We're having fun on this show.
Coming over here
What happened? My bad energy broke her glasses. I'm responsible for this over here, right here. You see this?
Why the?
I owe her glasses, Katina Man. My bad juju. Sorry, Joseph.
Why the lens is so dirty, though?
Well, because she was touching it with her fingers. She's got finger smudge all over the
What kind are these? Where'd you get them?
Ram.
Oh, they're real broken. You lost the screw and everything.
Good.
Do you have the screws?
See what happens when you mess with me, Ram? Karma comes back, and it comes back quite swiftly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
Sharif, let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about Tesla here. Good time here good time here on the floor so far, guys.
Always.
Putting a good one. Having lots of fun here. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe. If you like joining us. We like to have a chuckle once in a while but Google is continuing to go. Katina Man's in the dollar now. Dollar club for Katina Man. He's not even paying attention. Just came back from the gym.
Man, you're over
and then now he's in the dollar club money over there.
Yeah, well,
just hit it, man. Just hit it. We know you want to hit it.
There he is. There he is.
Here we go. That's what we're talking about. But I mean, guys, let's talk about dead stocks right here, and that's Tesla. I mean, like we were going on about this before, talking about AMD and other things. Look at the overall market here. All right, it's another hot dog cannon by Katina Man. He's got it going over here. Everybody does. But let's get back to reality here and see what we got going on here with Tesla. But I mean, guys, the overall market is continuing to just soar to the top side, and this thing has done essentially nothing but sold off. I mean, why do you want to be partaking in this? If you're short, cool. That means that good for you. Then you can short this thing. But even so, look how deep the pullbacks are on Tesla. It's like you sell it, goes right back up to those highs. Sell it right back up, and then it sells again. So I mean, what do you want to be trading, Tesla? Or would you rather be trading Google? That's in play. Had earnings yesterday, really starting to recover on the session. Now above the volume weighted average price. Or would you rather be trading NVDA? I mean, with things that are dead, like just forget about them. They'll come alive again, especially Tesla. I told you, this thing, it comes in waves, right? You got to be prepared for that. Tesla's, when it's really in play, you can almost long that thing every day for essentially and just continue to the top side. But then when it starts to cool off, you have to be able to realize that it's cooling down and that price is not going to move how it was a month ago. So that way you got to get out of Dodge and find something new. So that's my opinion on Tesla. I'm not saying that it's not going to come back because I think it will. A lot of people in the chat said it has that cult-like aspect to it, and I couldn't agree more on that one. It's exactly what it is, and what we're doing is we're kind of pricing in robo-taxi. This guy doesn't have anything on the road yet. You know what I mean? So it's just like, man, what's going on here? We got to wait for this guy to honestly put this fleet on the road and then maybe start generating some revenue. Who's he going to team up with, Lyft or Uber? How do you think things going to get? No one. He's going on his own. So it's like, okay, there's a lot of logistics to figure out here, Sharif, and we're not even really there yet.
And we wouldn't even talk about the licensing that he might do with Ford, GM. They're eons behind they're eons behind Elon.
Elons, man.
Right?
Behind Elon's
Elon.
Behind. You know what I mean?
No, seriously though, Joseph, he wants to license that obviously, to these OEM manufacturers who can't do it themselves. I'm talking about you, Ford, Stellantis, GM, yada yada. You guys get it. That's Andre. Let me know when. We're good. All right. Hive Digital Technologies trades on the Nasdaq under ticker HIVE. Is pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining. It's a global leader in cutting-edge data center operations with over 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Hive consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. You can learn more by following them on social media at Hive Digital Tech, or go to their website, HiveDigitalTech.com, and sign up for the Hive newsletter for updates. Shout out to the great folks at Hive. All right, guys, here is the deal. We took some out there right now on ACB. I got the print there at 40s. Now I'm waiting at 45. This one is curling up off VWAP. As you can see now, we're getting that higher low, higher high situation. Again, though, I am a little concerned with the lower highs. If you look at this trend line, we broke it, but we know these trend lines are not perfect, obviously, and they could mean absolutely nothing. So we'll see if we can get that 545 print. Very interested in, continuing on this one. I don't mind adding if it gets parabolic, but I got my suspicions about that. SLXN, we're like 2 pennies in the money, showing me 60s here. It hasn't been popping off, though. It's been holding VWAP. It looks like a bull flag on the 5, but we're not getting that continuity to the high side. We haven't been to the top end of the range of the flag component of the bull flag for a hot minute. The last time we were up there was 45 after 11. That is about an hour ago. For the better part of an hour, we've been straddling the low end of the bull flag. I'd like to see some moves possibly into the high side there. None forthcoming, though, at the moment. So we're going to have to pack our patience. BBAI continues to go up. It still hasn't popped off above my last out there at 42s. I still have, I almost had the high of the day. I'm like a penny below that, but it didn't come back into that 710. That's the level that I earmarked. I like the interaction with 710, thinking, if it pulls back, maybe that 710 ends up holding. Shows what I know. It didn't come back into that level. I'm packing my patience. I don't mind waiting a little bit here on Big Bear AI. I'm seeing a new entrant onto the scene. It's a quantum name, maybe one that we haven't talked about, one that we haven't talked about all that much. It goes by the ticker QNTM. Here it is. Let's load this bad boy up. It just got into day's high. That's the first bull flag. Now we could be in the formation of the second bull flag here. QNTM, not up a lot, 25%. Here are the details. $16 million market cap with 6 1/3 million shares traded on the day with a float of 40.2 million shares. Where the hell's my trade ideas? There it is. And now we're going to go back over here to QNTM, find out what the short float is on trade ideas. Let's pull that bad boy up, QNTM. What do we got? We don't have a short float here. And by the way, the float, according to trade ideas, is sub 1 million. That conflicts with what I have, which is 40.2 million. So a bit of a conflict in terms of data there, but we are taking out the highs, guys. But as I watch this, it looks like it's spready. It's trading spready. So let's go ahead and load this up on a trading screen. QNTM on the NASDAQ, I believe. No, it's about a 5 penny spread. That's not that bad. But it is whiffling and waffling at the high right now. $8 would be a hell of a dip trade. Doubt I'll get that right now, though, because this one was, it used 8 as a resistance, to be expected. It's a whole dollar level, sometimes psychological areas of resistance. But yeah, this is a good move up right now on QNTM. It's earned its way onto the side chart. It's going to replace RNAS, which is doing bupkis right now. QNTM, Joseph, could be a continuation here into that 8.5.
Good look there, brother. And there was an interesting comment in the chat from somebody. He said, yeah, Joe, every Tesla on the road can be a robo-taxi with an over-the-air software update. Yeah, exactly.
Caveat, Joseph. Hardware version 3. So he has different hardware versions, the cameras, the sensors. So there's a lawsuit right now alleging that you have to upgrade from 3 and up in order to get FSD. He had made the assertion that all the cars that had the FSD component would be able to, have that robo-taxi. Apparently not. Apparently you might have to fork up a $1,500 or so update to upgrade to version 4 or 5. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, but when I talk about it, I'm referring to the autonomous fleet, essentially, like the driver. Right. So just to clarify that, the unmanned vehicle, the one that doesn't have a steering wheel, we need to see those on the road before anything can really start going, and then we start pricing things in. But I mean, a lot of people say like this is going to add $1 trillion to its market cap, et cetera. Like that's a lot of money, whatever the market cap may be, around like 1.4 or 1.5 right now. So that's essentially doubling in price, which is absolutely insane. But as of right now, it's not there. The market's been trending higher, and Tesla's been doing a bupkis here, guys. So that's the look there. There's one thing that we haven't looked at today, Sharif.
What happened?
IBIT.
Ooh.
Haven't pulled that one up today.
You haven't
talked
on
about
it for all 10 minutes.
Stop. I have not pulled up the chart just yet, but here we go, guys. Down about 1% here on the session. Holding on to those lows, so around that 55.40 level is IBIT. I know a couple people in the chat were shorting this and making money bag yos off this. So there we go. I like this. But one thing that is absolutely roaring right now, we're going to drop the IBIT because we're not too worried about it right now, but that is Palantir. Palantir is really starting to climb now north of that $100, that 3-digit price tag on Palantir. That volume on the lower time frames really starting to kick in. Look at this massive engulfing candle it just put in on the 5-minute and on the 1-minute as well too, guys. So we're going to look for somewhat of a pullback here on Palantir. If we can retest VWAP, then I think that's going to be a long to the top side. I thought this trend was going to continue, but maybe it needs to breathe a little bit. We were up over north of 20% yesterday on the session. So, I mean, a little breath in this stock, there's nothing wrong with that. It essentially hasn't appreciated in price really off of those highs, down a couple points. But I think if we breathe here, that volume is sustained, we can definitely find a long here on PLTR, guys. But the naive New York, is the playmaker on? Yeah, I mean, we got 5 minutes, guys, so get those votes in. We're only at 1,000 native New York image. So the playmaker is always on, man. Monday to Friday, we're putting up that trade. So let's see what's going on with that. Good job on the voting. Let's get those a little bit higher and see how far we can take it.
Absolutely, Joseph. Well said. Forgot to mention that. The playmaker poll, in case you're wondering why we've called it the Playmaker poll, we've named it after one of our most cherished viewers who's no longer with us. He passed away, I think a couple of years ago now, Katima. Are we going on a couple of years almost? Yeah, it feels like it's been like that. So Darwin, the OG in the chat, had a great idea to actually name it after him. So we just wanted to put that up there if you're wondering why we're calling it the Playmaker poll. And he's a fellow Dallas Cowboys fan. He was very nice to send me a couple of jerseys that were my only Dallas Cowboys jerseys come from him. So shout out to the Playmaker. Obviously goes without saying there. All right, we're involved in QNTM because this thing's going parabolic. I've got a very tight stop below the $0.50. I've already wet my beak at 69s. I'm now waiting mid-70s, seller at 70. Boom, there it is, taking out the top there. Now I'm waiting at 77s. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit in the 80s now. Let's see if this one wants to squeeze. So it's got a nice little move under it. Midday, I'm talking about QNTM, showing me 75, 76, boom, taking out 77s. Now I'm waiting at 82. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit higher. Now, if we get that 82 print, I'm going to want a 92 print. So we're going to see exactly what we get, and we will not get upset. Shout out to Neil. We're looking for that 82 print, showing me 79s. Now, here we go, coming back down. I'm long 62s. I'll give this to 50, okay? So we're long at 62s. I'll risk a little bit. Here we go. Showing me 82s. There it is. And here comes 92s, and bang, there it is again. I love these small cap gappers there to the high side. Here comes 9 likely on QNTM. I think the high of the day is 95. So very close to that $9. Now, keep in mind, we got an initial bull flag on QNTM starting around 11. We whiffled and waffled from that 11:30 to 12. In my estimation, this is the continuation of the initial bull flag, which is the second bull flag. So I do expect a period of consolidation once we're done moving up. So this is the 5-minute look on QNTM. As you can see, we move up there, kind of a bull flag. There's a continuation, second bull flag. So I'm expecting something like this to develop a little bit over here. Where it happens and when, your guess as good as mine. But we are going through 910 now, HOD. This one is on one. And I don't know what the short float is on this, by the way, because I wasn't able to find it on Trade Ideas. But I want to tell you that there's conflicting data with respect to the float. I've got 40 million and change. Trade Ideas says sub 1 million. So we'll have to continue to see what the situation is there. Let's manage our other trades, though. We're involved in a bunch of others. So ACB, best print I got there was at 40s, coming down into 529. I'm long at the $0.25. Let's see how long this one wants to hold up for. Man, QNTM is on one, bro. It's taking out 910 now. It's 913, looking to take out highs. I'm also involved in this piece of crap, SLXN, which has been doing nothing for the past, I don't know, couple of hours. We're positive on it, but I just want to get out of this. I hate these trades that put me to sleep, to be quite honest with you. We should really be putting our mental capital behind stuff like this. That's really going right now. This is about to take out the highs again, 940 now high on QNTM. So I'm willing to bet you that the short float on this is probably a little bit larger. It's either that or it is a sub 1 million float, because the way it's moving right now, awfully similar to a heavily shorted name or a low float name, or both. So we'll keep tabs on that. Tom Gist, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Tom. Does AMD appear to be making a bull flag? Joseph, you want to take this one?
Yeah, for sure. I will definitely take this one. Let's see what we got going on with AMD from a 5-minute perspective. And also, when you put that in the super chat, Thomas, just bull flag, that can be on multiple time frames. So if you just say, hey, does it look like this on the 5 or whatever it may be, can you give us a lot more clarity on the question? I don't know, Sharif, do you think this is bull flag-esque here?
It could be.
I mean, but see, the thing is, though, like, if we're like, hey, it could be, we don't want to force it, you know what I mean? It's like you want to look at the chart and be like, yo, okay, this is bull flagging. This is a little bit more definitive. As of right now, on a 5-minute time frame, not too sure, but we can zoom in a little bit and see what we got going on from a 1-minute, and then that might give us some more clarity. But as of right now, for a bull flag, I'd want to see that pennant-like action, so forming either like higher lows or lower highs with a definitive base on either end of that. So I'm not seeing that right now, and I'm not going to force it, and I'm not going to say no either. So I don't know how Sharif feels about that one.
Well, Darth Buddha, great question. You need to identify the trend first. The flag is determined by the trend. As you saw there, we were definitely coming off a downtrend. So your point's well taken. The point that I wanted to make, we have to send it up to Adair for the crypto update in 1 second. We already have a couple of green candles there. So if they were to weasel in, theoretically, you could put your stop below the low of that candle and then risk, I don't know how much that is, you tell me.
About 70 cents or so.
About 70 cents to possibly weasel up to what, 150, 114?
Break that high. Yeah, exactly, and run into the next support here around 112.39. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Just put the stop right a little bit below that 110 level, and then see if you can take it up to about 112 and change there. But that's what we would look like on AMD, and that's where we would kind of set up our risk management. But let's see what...
Yeah,
you want to send it to Adair? Yeah, we're going to send it to Adair here now, guys.
It's crypto time, and Bitcoin is still basically struggling here at this, I guess it's kind of low for the last little while around that, just below that 98,000 level. But you know why this is really key? Because everyone's favorite Bitcoin hodler, MicroStrategy, is actually reporting after the close. So keep an eye on MSTR. I'm not seeing any earnings estimates for them either, but keep an eye out here in X. I'm currently working on a graphic showing their Bitcoin purchases over the years. They really only started purchasing Bitcoin actually in August 2020, so definitely check that out. We'll have to see what Michael Saylor and co. have to say about Bitcoin and how it's doing right now, so definitely keep an eye on that. In terms of other crypto, I want to take a look at XRP, because XRP is one that's been pretty weak as of late, despite its relative strength off the election. With XRP, you have to keep in mind it was buoyed not only by the election of Donald Trump, but also by the announcement that Gary Gensler would be stepping down from the SEC. We know that he specifically, when he was in charge of the SEC, there were some issues with regards to Ripple and XRP. So that was viewed as pretty bullish, but now we've actually broken below the AVWAP from that Gary Gensler-related volume spikes. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. XRP giving up a lot of this move. We made highs, or recent highs here, anyway, around that 3.4 level, currently trading around 2.4. So let's see if XRP is able to, I guess, rise up from that. But I think it's worth noting Ripple pretty weak here, and it has been for a while, guys. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
All right, before we get to the playmaker, Joseph,
Yes, sir.
QNTM just wigged into 10, $9.95. It's up 42 and change. This one is really squeezing. Shout out to Trader B, who told me in the chat that we've got something around 12 and change, 12 and a quarter, 12.5% of the float is borrowed for short. It's not the biggest number we've ever seen in the world, but it really depends on where the majority of shorts are in. Because then once we can get to that price, we can squeeze them, and then we get that parabolic effect because there's double buying, right? If you don't know what a short squeeze is, in order to get out of your short, you have to buy, right? So if you're buying and then someone else is covering shorts, that's double the amount of people buying. That's why we get this squeeze. Joseph, let's do this SPY. We got to do the playmaker poll, baby.
Fire it up here, guys. The playmaker poll. All right, so let's get this one going here. So we got our 39th trade, man. We're going to hit that 40 data points really soon, guys. Let's see what we got going on here. So the entry price, Sharif.
602.80.
602. Oh, we're buying up here. All right.
Hey.
What's the beak wetter
We're
there?
always buying,
We're
Joseph. I don't think we've ever
buying.
sold.
Yeah, we're buying up here.
We're taking it out at 604.80.
604.80.
And then we're stopping out at 601.80.
601.80. There we go. We're not right in at 104 there, guys.
BBAI is selling off aggressively, guys. Oh, and I just got short BBAI. I'm going to cover a little bit here. There we go. All right, let's see if we can continue to move down. I've got some short. If it comes up above 7, I'm basically taking it all out here over here because this could be a 7 dip and pop. So I don't want any smoke on, especially since it's trading above the volume weighted average price, and there it is. So I'll just cover it there on BBAI. All right, this one is really moving. So we can flip long. I'll flip long on this if it holds 7. It dips below 7. I'm assuming it was a specialist breakdown to push everybody out. If this starts trending above 7 again, this will been, to me anyway, an obvious specialist breakdown and a curl right back up. So BBAI. Now we were complaining that there weren't too many small cap gappers that were really moving. Now we got a couple that are really moving. One to the high side, one to the downside. I'm talking about QNTM. I'm talking about BBAI. So there's plenty to trade during the midday. Let's see if we can catch maybe something to the high side now that we've reclaimed 7. Joseph, I didn't want to interrupt, but this whole thing.
I don't know if I had anything going on, man,
okay,
but we can take it back over here. So 30K volume on the BBAI. Okay, so we're talking some options now. The incredible Mr. Lib. Good seeing you in here. I haven't seen you for a while there, Mr. Lib. So 30K volume in the BBAI, 8 call, 321. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at that one there. So let's pull up this options chain on BBAI, and then what does he got? January, February, March 21st. Let's see what we got going on there with the March 21st. Okay, not letting me pull that one up there. So
You want me to pull it up? What do you got?
Yeah. So March 31st expiration cycle on BBAI. Saying there's a lot of open interest. Oh no, the actual volume, not OI there. So there is some volume on BBAI contracts. Let's see what else we got going on from a daily. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, this chain isn't very vast. So yeah, February 21st is the next cycle that we got going on here, Sharif. They don't even allow me to look at the monies really. So not something I would necessarily be looking to partake in from an options perspective. At that $5 strike price, we got 34K open contracts as of right now, but to the put side, not looking really good. You might not even be able to buy puts on this thing right now, Sharif, according to this chain. But let's see what Adara's up to.
We just talked about MicroStrategy, and now we actually have pretty crazy news. They are no longer MicroStrategy. They have announced they have rebranded as Strategy. This is their new website. As you can see here, they have a little Bitcoin in their logo now as well, excuse me. But Strategy is the new name of this company. They said that this is basically a new Bitcoin-focused logo. They now also have separate websites for their software and their merchandise. So I guess really trying to rebrand, it seems like for kind of a monetary or branding play. Anyways, they also said they're going to be discussing this transition during their earnings call at 5 p.m. Eastern. So ahead of their earnings, we get a very odd Bitcoin-focused rebrand, including a new color scheme for Strategy. Guys, back to you.
It's a nice grading.
Now I'm buying it. Now that they've changed their name, I'm going to buy it.
You're buying MicroStrategy?
No. I couldn't deal with that volatility, bro. I mean, I know he's up to something over there. I mean, you can love him or hate him. I don't care which way you fall down on. It's just the volatility that I don't want to deal with day in and day out, bro.
You're in Pantub.
What's that?
You're in Pantub.
Yeah, I got enough volatility there, bro. The beta on the
beta
dang
on those are
cybersecurity names. Dude, it's like it's been calm late.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it.
Adrian Diaz says, take my money.
Yeah, well,
like,
look,
sign up.
shout out to Sailor, man.
Yeah, shout out.
Guys, there's a new small cap gapper that has found its way onto the scene. It is currently uphalted right now. It's going by the ticker RFAC, halted at $15.55. This one really can't seem to stay open for whatever reason. It's a $48 million market cap. It's only done 288,000 shares on the day, mostly because it can't seem to stay open. It's been halted multiple times. All of the halts have been to the upside. It's squeezing big. I have no idea what the hell the news line is on this. I'm looking and I don't see anything. So I don't know why. RF Acquisition Corp, what is it? Oh, it's a blank check company. This is a SPAC. Okay, so we haven't seen SPACs in a hot minute. It feels like it's 2020, 2022, 2021 again. RFAC, guys, is the ticker. It is a SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company. These companies are blank check companies that are only listed for the sole purpose of going into the private market, buying a private company, and taking it public, circumventing the IPO process that most of us are familiar with. So this is a SPAC. So keep your eye out on this company right now, halted to the high side, 15.55. Have no idea why it's moving. Don't have a headline there. Nothing coming in on my blotter. If you have a headline, I'd love to know. Tag me or Joseph in the chat and let us know. So that one's made its way onto the side chart. It's currently halted. Let me tell you exactly when this bad boy halted. We're going to have to put it up on a trading screen over here. All right, who are we going to take out? We're going to take out, no, not QNTM. We'll take out Rocket Lab. So here it is. Let's take our RFAC on the NQ. Yes. So this halted at 13:05, 40-something. So we should be opening up shortly if this is to be a 5-minute halt. As I mentioned, though, it's halted multiple times. So we could get maybe a longer halt this time, a 10-minute, 15-minute. They usually come in increments of 5. So these volatility halts will usually be in increments of 5. So right now, I think we did surpass. We'll see if maybe it'll open up. Sharat Rahman, Sharif. Thoughts on Hood, please. Will it pull back slightly, or is this the best buy in point? Let's have a look. I haven't looked at Robinhood. My understanding is they're pulling back on some of the contracts or the what's it called? The contracts, but they were gonna allow you to do bets on the Super Bowl. I think they pulled back from that. Am I right about that, guys? Let me know. I seem to be remembering something like that. Just looking at my news blotter to see what the situation is on Robinhood. There it is. Robinhood receives formal request from CFTC to roll back Pro Football Championship market. So they've received from the CFTC basically the request not to have these kind of sports contracts in their offerings. Yeah. So that's a look right there. Okay. So RFAC. Opened up and it's halted to the downside. So this was up at 15.55. This is the first down halt, I believe. Halted at 13.67. It stayed open for all of 30 seconds. We'll talk more about that in Hood when we get back from Madeira.
Can you just give a little bit more context here on Robinhood? So on Monday, they announced they were going to be partnering with Kalshi there on some sports betting, specifically for the Super Bowl. Then the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, comes in and they said they basically formally request that Robinhood not allow their customers to access these sports events contracts. Robinhood said they'd actually only rolled out the feature to 1% of their customers. So that is a very small percentage of their customer base. But they said, regardless, they did, even though they said they were disappointed, they did honor the request. So that basically, days after announcing this rollout, I think one day after announcing the rollout, Robinhood did suspend it for the time being, though it has not been stopped. It's just been suspended for now. So we'll have to see what happens there, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that color, Adara. Always coming in with that deets. Guys, I mean, we didn't really get much of a bad reaction to that from the CFTC. I got to tell you the truth. I thought, maybe we'd sell off, maybe because they didn't have the offering to, the larger part of their clientele. But this is the 15 on Hood. Let's go to the daily. So obviously, as you can see, I mean, it is up into the dang right. How you get in, I don't know, bro. Like you're really good. Look, 45 looks great there. There's a bit of a top there. You can see here, reject, reject, reject. So maybe something around 47 to 45 would be good. You could also try to use the moving averages. You can see most of the closing prints are above the 10. The deeper retracements come into the 20. This is the daily chart on Robinhood. You could figure out that way. But if you're interested in the company as an investment and not a trade, your entry should be less important. I don't want to say it's not important, okay? Because a lot of people use technical analysis who are fundamental analysts. They use technical analysis just to work into their entries and their exit, but not really to determine much other than that. So I'd say maybe 45. If it pulls back into that level, I'm a buyer because of this top over here, and maybe at around 47 and change because that's a 20 exponential moving average. I hope that helps. I don't know how to say your first name, Malihi? Momo. He's telling me about IVVD. Let's have a look. Ooh, what is going on over here, bro? Yeah, it's not bad, Joseph. The volume, though, it's a little light. 16 and third million shares on $1 a name. Yeah, so, you know, it's a little light on volume, but it's very trend respectful right now. This is the 1 minute. And this started really moving at around 10 to 1. So this is a midday kind of trade right now. So I'll keep an eye on IVVD, but there's other stuff that's moving. That's why I'm hesitant to want to look at that. Like QNTM just pulled back into 9, and it bounced off aggressively off 9, right into that 9.25. So this is the kind of the second bull flag that I was talking about right now, the formation of the second bull flag. Whether or not we get a third on QNTM, your guess is as good as mine. But I did expect this after the big move up that we would have this sideways consolidation. That is kind of the flag component of the bull flag or the bear flag, this sideways move. Sometimes we get a pennant because it's compressing with higher lows and lower highs. We'll see what this one does over here. Good look though, defends 9, right back up into that 9.25. Joseph, who are we paying bills?
We're paying some bills today, guys. Worksport, introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport, folks. So there it is. The QR code is on the screen there, and you can click the link in the description, I'm pretty sure, as well, too, guys. So check that out if you're interested in some Worksport. But just to go back to that hood talk a little bit, yeah, man. I know Darren and Sharif were chiming in on it and giving you more in-depth than I could. But one thing is that I don't know if I would want my brokerage to be involved in sports betting.
Too late.
Too late? What do you mean?
Too late. Have you looked at IBKR's website lately?
Yeah, what is up with that,
I don't
dude?
know, bro.
What do they got going on there?
I don't know,
that?
Joseph.
That's insane. I think someone's gonna have to intervene with that. Those are two totally different worlds that I don't think should be intertwined whatsoever. And nor am I overly happy about it. So. What happened?
Political, economic, and climate forecasts we can now bet on using IBKR. Not that we're sponsored by them, and I'm not trying to give them a shout out, but that's
climate.
Yeah,
so I can
bet on the weather, Joseph.
If it's going to be 25 degrees tomorrow or in Phoenix.
Yeah, bro.
That's no, I don't know. Okay,
that's the last digit that the Dow closes at.
That you can bet on the last digit, the Katina man says that Dow closes at. I don't know, bro, man.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like those intertwined. I don't think those should be mixed together whatsoever. That's just my opinion on it. But I like what John said in the chat. There's one bet that I would like to take, and I know you can take those in a lot of betting sites now. I wonder what the odds are on seeing Taylor Swift multiple times during the Super Bowl. So yeah. So guys, let us know if anybody can get me the odds on that. If it's plus, then I'm gonna have to take it. And I'm not even a gambling man really like that. But if it's plus anything, I'll take that over on.
Plus for how many times?
Over 1.5 or 2.
No.
Yeah, you think so?
Tell them
You
what they're
think so?
saying, though.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
No, but just tell the viewers what Sean and Neil are saying, because people won't be able to hear.
Okay, so they can't really say. So I'm saying it's plus 1.5 maybe, like that you're going to see her. Sean's like, it's easily 5 or 6 times, plus 5 or 6 there on that betting odds. So I'm curious to see what it is for Taylor Swift appearing at the Super Bowl. It's definitely a minus, but I mean, showing up multiple times, you have to take the over on.
Game,
you have
bro.
you have to take the over on that trade. I think, man.
I don't know how to sports bet. So is over means that she's likely to show?
No, but like, so if it's like over 2.5 times, that means you need her to appear 3 times on the screen.
Oh, got it.
Right?
So how many times she?
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly. Right.
Okay.
So I said 1 and 1.5, 2 maybe, but it's probably definitely over, closer to what Sean and Neil are saying about like 5 or 6 times that they're.
And if they win, it's a definite. Way
that's
over,
easy.
because then she's gonna be all up on.
I know. My friends do the length of the anthem and the coin flip and everything along those lines, right?
We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, the
Who you
coin
got?
flip. You got to take the Chiefs, man. I think you got to take the Chiefs. Like
I don't
think,
want to take the Chiefs,
but they're just too good. You know what I mean? They just know how to get it done, like Tom Brady. Okay, this was a good question that I seen come up. If these two iconic franchises in their prime, Tom Brady in his prime versus Patrick Mahomes now in the Super Bowl, who do you think would win that game?
That's a good one, man. I'm just going to go with the GOAT, right? Obviously,
Yeah, okay.
Mahomes is, respect on that guy's name. Obviously, he's a once-in-a-generation wonder. But, yeah, man, Brady, I'm just going to go with my guy, Brady. I don't know.
You're with TB, eh?
I'll go with Brady. I don't want to cheer for the Chiefs, but I can't cheer for the Eagles, right? Because, well, they're a division rival, and that just doesn't work like that, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to have a good day anyway. A buddy's doing a party up in the old stomping grounds, Markham.
Oh, Markham.
So going back up to Markham.
Nice.
How about you? Are you doing anything for the bowl?
No, I'm not a big bowl guy, man. I like I told you, I used to play football, and like I was, out of all my buddies, I was like, I eat, breathe, and like slept football. Sundays were my thing, and then I fell out of love with it, bro, because all my friends kind of ruined it for me too. To be honest with you, it's just like, man, I fell out of love with football, and then that's when I fell in love with kind of combat sports, man.
Oh, well, there you go, bro.
Yeah,
Who can complain about that? Did you see?
Too many flags in football. When I was watching, it's like every other play is a flag. Too much is going on. The stop and start. Yeah, the stop and start was just too much for me. I'm like, I've had enough of this. And I was out of my prime, and I wasn't playing anymore. So
I can definitely agree with that, man. So. Guys, we just weaseled into QNTM for another quick trade on that one. Took quick 20 pennies, but ended up giving back 10 on the stop out. So here's the deal. It's holding above 9. It's bull flagging. I think we may not get a third flag, but at least we'll get to the top end of the range. That's my bias so far on QNTM. Well, the top end of the range is right at that $10 area. That's the high of the day, $9.95. We're showing $9.07 on the ask right now. It's defending 9. It's kind of putting in higher lows, but it's also got that lower high. So this one looks like a pennant, a bull pennant so far. We'll have to wait and see exactly how this all pans out. But this feels like it's defending the level, especially with 9. Now it's got 3 candles on the 5-minute chart with higher lows. Not necessarily higher highs, but you got those higher lows. So I'm punching long right here, and we're going to try to get in some maybe towards the lower end of 9. So we're long at 23. Shout out to Jordan. So we'll throw out some possible beak wetters to the high side over here. But simultaneously, what I'll do is I'll throw some dip trades over here as well to kind of try to DCA into that $9 area. My out is going to be the area low. The area low is 883. So we're going to go ahead and put that right now on this one. We're going to go ahead and give it a bit of space between the trigger and the limit because, well, we know how these ones do, right? They can have huge areas of illiquidity. Let's see if this one wants to pop up. I'm waiting at 33s. It's showing me 28s. Not forthcoming quite yet. Are you losing connection?
Yeah, I'm
so
getting
we're both losing connection on that. That's really annoying.
It just
I don't know why it
reconnected,
does that.
apparently,
Yeah, it constantly does that. All right, so I'm waiting up here on QNTM, Joseph, waiting at 33s, then 43s, but I'm also looking to defend 9 with my ultimate out below that 882. Okay, I just saw that ACB lost VWAP. So I think this is the end of my trade over here. We're out of the majority of the position. But as I said, this 518 area has been holding. It's no longer holding, and it's given up VWAP with lower highs. That's going to be the end of the trade right there. We get out there for a little bit of the loser on the last piece. Still positive on it, though. Now trying to keep an eye on QNTM to see if this monster wants to squeeze. Here we go. 33s now showing up on the ask, but it's not printing because it's got a cross. Okay, now we got the print. Let's see if we can get 43. We didn't get the fill at 7. So we're still holding light size right now on QNTM, looking to see if this one wants to move up. 43s incoming, possibly showing me 40s now. There it is, moving up to the high side again. Now let's set up. Oh, I took everything out. I suck because I didn't get that dip trade. I suck. All right, so we'll do a little bit better next time, but still positive on it. Want to see if this one wants to continue to go. Some selling coming in at the $0.50. You can see the 5-minute candles all top out in and around the $0.50. So we're definitely getting some selling in and around there. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm just talking with Gorev in the, that's right. I'm just talking with Gorev in the chat here. Yeah, so 101, we're going to get out of this, Gorev. We put in that engulfing candle here on PLTR, if we can pull up my chart real quick. But now I just think this is a pullback. So I'm looking for just the repeat case here that we got going on. So a nice strong move to the top side. And then you kind of have that choppiness, well, not choppiness, but the bearish candles aren't as strong as the bullish. So you get that pullback, and then you get that other run to the top side, and then pull back here again as well too, guys. So let's see if we can continue to the top side. I just think this is a pullback. Holding these support levels pretty key around 101.18, Gorev. So again, I think that's just the pullback territory, and then maybe we can go and test these pivot highs as it seems to be playing out. But one thing that we need is that volume to step back in here in order for us to crack that high of 102. And if it goes on this pace, I think we will at some point, but only time will tell, and we have to be a little bit patient. The Qs and the SPY are still hovering around those highs, so I guess we can call this a pretty strong market. Are we going to take a second leg higher? Because as of now, we've had the inability to breach any lower than what this phase has, this consolidation phase has put in here. So around 602.33 seems to be the low as of right now. What do you got going on there? Show them what you got on.
Back in, bro, right back into QNTM at 50, and we just took out almost the high of the day again. We got it in at 89, so this one very strong. Here comes 10. There goes 10. 10.05 now, HOD on QNTM. It's up 47.5%. This feels very much like a short squeeze. I think Trader B in the chat was telling me about 12.5%. I wasn't able to confirm that. I don't have the data on it right now. In addition to that, in addition to not having the data I'm getting, or for the short float, I'm getting conflicting data on what the actual float is. My platform saying 40 and change million. Trade Idea saying sub 1 million, about 700 and change. QNTM, baby, it's on one right now. Trade it carefully. These ones are around for a good time, not a long time, and the bottom can drop off quicker than you can say, how do you do? I don't know. That's probably a too long of a word there. So let's keep an eye out on this one. Definitely interested in getting back in on QNTM. I'll look to take the squeeze. If it continues to move up in the way that it's doing right now, we'll definitely look at that. Now, it's been very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And here's what I kind of mean by that. Even though it's been very wicky and the range per candle, especially in this area, has been quite wide, giving you almost $1 from top to bottom of one 5-minute candle. Look at this. Higher low, higher low, higher low on each successive wick. All 3 wicks, though, respect the 10 exponential moving average. Look at it come down, though. This is what I mean when I say they're around for a good time, not a long time. It's going to hold to the downside, maybe. It just got into 9 after wicking into 10.05. This thing is on one right now. Let me just move back my charts. What's going on? There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm keeping an eye on this one. I don't know if I should be picking this one up off 9, but it defends 9 and it defends the 10 exponential moving average. So volatility in spades, but giving you a predictable range with that $9 area continuing to bounce. So we'll keep tabs on this one. Great day today for these small cap gappers. It didn't feel that way initially because there wasn't that much that was running and we had to take the scraps. I'm talking about SLXN. I'm talking about ACB. Those weren't really moving in any aggressive way, but now we've got a couple of good ones right now, so hopefully we can keep an eye out. My man Jay Lee. Looks like a Google long here. It dropped down. Thoughts? Joe, you think it's worth going long? My stink bid from the morning just hit. Joe had a banger on with Google today. So did the Katina man. Let's have a look at goggles, see what it's doing right now. So GOGL, obviously an earnings play yesterday, guys, in case you're wondering why the hell a $2 trillion name is down 8% on the day. That is why. Let's flip to the 5. And get a good look over here. It's kind of distorted. Let me remove this bar so that we can get a better look at the price action. So we're getting lower highs, Jay. Area crest, area crest, area crest. Now we're kind of putting in lower highs. I don't know, Jay. This feels like it might come back into VWAP. I'd like to see maybe a dip trade at 190, Jay. I don't know how Joe feels about that. That's VWAP. It's the $10 level. It's the whole dollar level. You could easily see that about 49 pennies away. Joseph, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, Sharif, just looking at it right now, you're right. We're forming those lower highs here on Google. And I mean, from a session standpoint, we got to look at the overall sentiment, right? We're still down, and we haven't recovered as much as I was thinking we were going to on Google. So that primary trend to the downside can be fully intact still up until this point. So one thing that we need to be wary at is if you want to get in here around the 190s, that's fine. But I think this thing is a little bit longer term of play. But one thing that we need to keep in mind here, Jay Lee, as well, is we got to take a look at it from a daily perspective and see where we're sitting at on the daily. I have no doubt in my mind that this gap will get filled eventually because the majority of gaps do get filled to the top side on these strong stocks. So we'll keep that in mind. But one thing is we just need to be wary of these key support levels here on Google. Right now we've been bouncing off them really nice, which set up multiple trades for us. But as of right now, I think we're getting to that latter half of the session here around 130 or so. So just keep that in mind that momentum has phased out of this stock for now. So it may be a little bit slower of a grind. I mentioned like, hey, I do think this thing will recover, and I bet my bottom dollar that it will essentially. But as of right now, getting into that long, I think we need to be a little bit more patient just because of the overall market as well too. Starting to pull back a little bit. I mean, we're still extremely extended from VWAP on the Qs and the SPY, so we got to keep that in mind as well. So, I mean, it's your call, right? If you like it down there for the long term, I like this stock, but as of right here for a long, I don't know how much I love it. I would really need to see volume to step in, right? Because as we form these lower highs, what we need to do is hold this base, and then that's when you get that volume and momentum to step back in, and then maybe you can break through some of these key resistance levels. So as of right now, maybe some more potentially downside, especially if this support level breaks. So yeah, we're just going to continue to monitor that and see what we got going on. But as for PLTR, hopefully that answered your question, Jay Lee. Just obviously just write it in the chat. We'll be sure to get to it because we know you're in here every day and a regular. So much appreciated for your contributions. But here we go, guys. PLTR holding the volume weighted average price really well. Let's see if that volume, it's kind of the same story here, Jay Lee. PLTR and Google's identical price action patterns here that we got going on. So what we need is that volume to really step in, and you'll see those larger signatures come in the momentum come in the time of sales. So yeah, that's what we're waiting for. I think this thing is still strong. I mentioned how from a percentage metric what we were up not too long ago, and the stock is just breathing up here, I feel, and then possibly take a second leg higher, which I think may be the case. Because, again, let's take a look at it from the daily and just see, So, yeah, I mean, like, this is still an inside day on PLTR. But if we open within this range, I do think that you get that 3-bar play type price action. That's what I'm looking for. And then maybe this thing goes 110 by the end of the week. That's what I was thinking. And I know a couple other people in the chat were thinking 110 on PLTR as well, too. So it may or may not come to fruition. But, I mean, you can... This thing is strong, hit it out the ballpark on the report. So I think that this thing is still a long-term buy, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, good point there, Joseph. All right, guys, QNTM. I mean, this is what I meant when it's around for a good time, not a long time. There you go. I mean, this is exactly it. And you really need to be careful trading these. Because, I mean, you can blow up accounts. And I know a lot of small cap traders out there, they kind of do it overnight and get everything... just make a whole lot of money real quick and then end up blowing up the accounts because of this. And I've seen it multiple times. I mean, I started out trading these small cap gappers during the pandemic, and I was part of a paid community, and so many people were blowing up their accounts because of this stuff. So make sure you are using stops, sound risk management, right size. So here it is, $10 off the high there, 10.05. It's at 8.86 right now. It's the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. Not an area that I'm going to pick it up off. I personally like it at $8. I want to see what it does initially at 8.25, because that's where VWAP is. If it comes into VWAP, holds, fantastic. But there is price action. Initially resistance. We'll see if it's support this time around at $8. So the whole dollar level is interesting. Right now, it's got a bit of a hammer candle forming on the 5, bouncing off that 20 exponential to a T, right off that 850, and it looks like it wants to work its way back into 9. 9 may be resistance level here, because we actually used 9 a whole bunch as support when we were kind of doing the dance up there above 9, in between 9 and 10. So I'm concerned that 9 flips from support to resistance at around this level. So we'll see. We'll see. Roland Joe, great point, brother. I just noticed that was incorrect in my lesson. Sharif, isn't the NQ tick value $5 a tick? It says $2.50 in your lesson. You're absolutely right, Nick. I made a mistake there. Thank you for pointing that out. It is actually $5 per tick on the NQ. Again, 2 different versions of the NQ. There's the MNQ and there's the NQ. So just have a look at which one you want to trade, obviously. The MNQ.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but One Dance TV, my cousin, got the family chiming in now too. So shout out to my cousin.
Is that your cousin?
Yeah, it's my cousin. Yeah.
All right.
Friends for a long time. That's my main guy right there, Andre. I remember story back in the day. So we were during the COVID. He's like, "Yeah, Joe, what should I buy?" It's when I kind of just got into the venture. So I got him into Moderna really early, and then he held on to some Moderna for a long time, and then sold at some pretty good price levels as well too. So he's out there working.
When did you have a first look at Moderna? I remember trading that at $37 and a half.
Yeah, I forget what the price was, but it was so cheap. It was like at the beginning of the pandemic and before it was like just the talk of the starting talk of the vaccines, and I did essentially what I did with the weed companies, right? I was just like, what is the top performing, like who's going to be first in line with the vaccines? And then that's when I stumbled across Moderna and Pfizer, and then that's when I just bought them, and I'm like, hey, yeah, let's go.
Moderna was the leader there.
Yeah, absolutely, Moderna just went through the roof. Unfortunately, I trimmed it way too early, but I was onto something with that one, so I'm 2 for 2 on that. I'm 2 for 2 on just typing in what is the leading company and things when I had next to little knowledge on those.
Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. Yeah, seriously, and that's what we did. So shout out to my cousin Andre out there. I know he's working hard. So thanks for chiming in, my guy.
Good to have you, Andre. BBAI consolidating, says Rohit. All right, we'll have a look at that in a sec. Ronak Kumar. Is it possible that every mega cap stock is up, yet VFV is down? I don't know what VFV is, got to tell you the truth. We'll have to have a look. Not a ticker that I quite remember. VFV. Vanguard. Oh, the ETF. Okay, I see what you're saying. So this is the Vanguard 500 ETF. Why am I not getting any information on this? Let me throw it up onto the watch list over here. VFV. There we go. I don't have access to that. Oh, is this in Toronto? Oh, it's on the TSE. I don't have Toronto data. I'm sorry, I have to look at it on my actual trading platform, the firm's software here. Give me a second to load that up. VFV, and then it's on the TO. Come on, TO, show yourself. Where is it? Where is it? TO's the Toronto Exchange, TO, right? Joseph? Yeah, there.
Sorry, what's that? TSX?
There we go. There it is.
Okay, TO,
all right.
Sorry, I was looking for something.
So here we go. Yeah, we're flat on the day. Well, I don't think that's that weird, brother, because the ES, this is the Vanguard 500 ETF in Toronto on the TSX, the Toronto Stock Exchange. So it's flat, 0.01%. But when you look at the actual ES itself, we're only up 0.17. What's a SPY? The SPY is only up 0.18. So there's going to be a bit of variation, obviously, between that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not a good look that it's down in Toronto and then up in New York. I get that, but we're not talking a whole lot here. Who was that? That was Ronak Kumar. Jay Lee, I'm short BBAI 690. Think it's going to trickle down to the 6s. Where's BBAI right now? It's holding up at 6.5, Jay. 650 is where I'd be buying because that's a volume weighted average price. I'm talking about BBAI. Do we still have it up here? Yeah. So we're holding up for whatever reason, but this is looking very bear flaggish and then flat, bottom, breakish. We're putting in lower highs, guys, 7 area crest, and then we're looking at 693, and then 686, and then 685. So lower highs every time with that 675, 670 defending. Good point, Jay. I hope you print up a storm now that I'm no longer involved in it. Benson, it's Canadian. Okay, got it. Thank you. Shout out to Benson. Yesterday, it was the case. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, brother, today, I mean, there's not that much of a difference. I mean, there is. It's, you know, 0.5% that's different because I think we're up 0.2 on the ES, or we're actually up 0.2 on the SPY as well. And where are we at right now with this name? We're flat on it. So there is a difference, a fifth of a percentage point. I don't know exactly why. I got to tell you the truth. I'm not sure how this is weighted and what's going on there. But yeah, great question. I don't have an answer to that, sadly. I don't really trade much, if anything, off Toronto. I know the boys in the back used to do the TSX close. There's a special type of trade that we do in the close. Haven't done that in years, to be quite honest with you. So.
Oh, no.
What's going on?
Oh, I meant to take off PLTR, but I just added instead.
All right, guys, I'm keeping my eye on QNTM because it's defending that $8.50 level, which is the 20 exponential. 8.25 is VWAP. So we had 2 very aggressive red candles on the 5 on QNTM from that 10.05 HOD right down into 8.50. Since we got into that 8.50 level, though, we've kind of held up. I'm not going to go long here. I perceive 9 to possibly be some resistance. I'd rather trade this north of 9. So we'll see exactly what the situation is with QNTM. Interested in BBAI if it continues to do what it's doing right now and holds up, but if it goes,
You see?
Yeah, if it goes flat bottom break, I'm not plugged
he's not,
in.
He's not locked in there.
My bad. Go ahead, Joseph.
That's all right, guys. E-Signal, guys, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game. Customize and analyze markets faster your way. Better backtesting and scanning. Predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description, folks. There it is.
XPX with a great point there, Joseph, about why VFV on the Toronto Stock Exchange is changing or has a different percentage up on the day than its American counterparts. It's because of the US CAD difference, according to XPX123. I don't know if that's accurate. It seems to jive for me. Do your research. There's so many different AIs and LLMs that you can ask for why it's doing that, but it's moving up now as I see the overall market seems to be taking a bit of a move back up. And I've been trading the dead one all day, and I haven't been trading it. I'm talking about AAPL. So maybe we can look at this one now because I perceive this one to be doing a bit of a curling effect here. On Apple, looking to pop back up. We defended 21,700, not strictly. We actually got back into the closing print from yesterday at 21,670 on the NQ March contract, and now we're above 21.7, and that has a lot of these Mag 7 names possibly to the high side over here. I'm talking about Amazon popping off. Microsoft, Google's curling back up as well. Not so much on Tesla. We're still below VWAP there. Meta as well seems to be a bit of a stagnant name on the day, despite the fact that it defended 700. We'll see exactly what the situation is here on the future, but you know, maybe we could take out that 42-point level, 21,742 on the NQ, and get into that 50-point level. Not forthcoming quite yet. You're really doing a number on Ram's glasses, eh?
Well, I don't know. I feel like they're... You know what I mean? I like them, but I tried to see. They're just blue lights, though. They're not even really. They don't do anything.
They're too thin. I don't even feel like they're on my face, Ram. What did you do to these women? Like they're like. They're all crooked and stuff. What have you done?
Yeah, man, it's chaos.
It's for me, apparently, according to Adara. I don't know. I didn't touch them, Adara. I'm not taking blame for this. But yeah, Ram, you got to take care of your stuff a little bit better, bro.
Your stuff there, man.
Not good.
Yeah, what happened to the iPhone? Did you get a case for your iPhone yet?
Well, apparently she's not using anything her man gets her because they were fighting.
You're
right?
still not using it?
I don't know if they're still fighting or not.
She's using it again. She's using it again. Yeah.
Get it, Ram.
She got a case now. So.
She got a case,
yeah,
okay.
She got a case, yeah.
Oh.
She's not allowed to have it without a case anymore.
Yeah, well, I know, but why would you want to have it without a case?
That's crazy.
Well, this isn't too bad. Like, I mean, this is the 13 Pro Max. And
I think that's the ultimate iPhone rookie mistake is not having a case. Because like you got like, you got a drop and a half max before the whole back is shattered.
Basics, Joseph.
Like literally. Man, I remember I dropped this thing. So, dude, listen to this story. So I'm on my way to the Dominican Republic. Get out of the cab, drop my phone because it was sitting on my lap before I even get to Pearson, shatter the screen and everything like that. So then, anyways, I'm obviously having some fun there. Drop the phone in the pool, and then like every time I tried to talk on the phone, it would just electrocute my ear.
No,
yeah, I swear, yeah.
Hold on, was that before they got they were water resistant?
Even so, right? This is the 10 or whatever. So whenever I was like this on the phone, it's like zapping my ear the whole time. Yeah.
All right, guys. What else you guys got in the chat? Eddie R. Sharif. The case is for when Show throws to his. The case is for when. All right. I got it. Okay. Ronak. Buy the 16 Pro Max. You have any money? I'm not buying it. No, I'm just joking. No, I tell you,
Selena doesn't like it. She doesn't like it.
Eh?
She doesn't like the new iPhone.
You told me, but you need that. You need 15 Pro and up for the Apple Intelligence. You can't get Apple Intelligence with anything less than the 15.
What do you got, the 13?
This is the 13 Pro Max, yeah, so it's a few years old now. Yeah, I should definitely get the 13 Pro. I mean, the 16. I'll hold off on it. I got enough expenses at the moment. Daniel T. Intel is still cooking. All right, let's have a look at Intel. Where's it at over here? Just want to have a look at what INTC is up to. I don't know why I can't find it on my watch list, but anyway, let's load it up. We know what the ticker is. INTC. Let's see what Intel's up to. Oh, it's up 2.25 on the day. I don't really. Oh, that's right. We had this headline, so it looks like they're teaming up. Intel partners with Japanese labs to build quantum computers, says a report. Japan's National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology to build the next generation quantum computers using Intel's chips, according to a report by the Nikkei Asia. U.S. chipmaker has reportedly signed a memorandum of understanding with AIST and will begin operations this spring in a city northeast of Tokyo. The report said, citing people familiar with the matter, the deal is expected to be made public soon. Okay, so it's not even public. They plan to develop a quantum computer with tens of thousands of qubits. The machine would prove useful to pharmaceutical companies, financial firms, utilities, and business logistics, the report says. Okay, so, all right, so decent look there. We'll have to see how Intel does. They're up 2 1/5 on the day, so not a bad look.
Sorry to interrupt you. Was it Google who was getting into pharma too, or something along those lines?
Google and pharma?
Yeah. Or Apple, one of the two.
Amazon?
No, maybe, but one of these big names who just recently reported said that they got this new expanding like pharma sector going on or something along those lines. Yeah. Fact check me, chat, because I thought I heard something about that from an analyst last night. I just can't remember what company. So is it Google or Apple that's working on some pharma stuff or something along those lines? I'm not too sure.
We got to send it to Adair.
To be aware here, Amazon AMZN. This came out, I think, about 5 minutes ago, but it's really circulating on social media now. Reuters reporting that Amazon has sent out an invite for February 26th for the media. Apparently, this event is going to be when it introduces its long-awaited generative AI Alexa upgrade. So people might be saying hi to Alexa a little bit more after this comes through. This event is going to be February 26th. Again, only media invites as of now, so it's unclear if this is going to be a public event like what we see with the Made by Google events or Apple's events. We're going to have to wait and see here. But regardless, AMZN on watch here. Apparently, February 26th, the day we learn a little bit more about its AI Alexa. Back to you.
I got an interesting one. Hey, Alexa, play Taylor Swift. I hope I activated people's Alexa. I want to activate people's Alexa that are watching the show, Darren. That's my move here.
Yeah.
Not to spite you, not at all. But yeah, I hope that activated your Alexa. I know it's done that for Google. But we've done that before, Joseph, where we've activated people's Googles, right? So that is look right now. What are you up to on that side, my man?
I'm just about to message Gorev. I'm out of PLTR here, Gorev. We don't want anything to do with this thing right now, especially because the market is slightly toppy. EBAI coming back in. I know that was a hot one. So Google, yeah, it looks like you got some people. You got some people. No.
Yes, success. I'm so petty.
Success. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yes, now my Alexa's playing Taylor Swift. I win.
Let's go. Oh man,
I'm just having fun
you just
with
put
you
a couple
guys.
some more money in Taylor Swift's pocket for those
Oh,
plays
good
there,
point.
guys. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin now around 96,700, guys. So starting to come to the downside. I want to point this out here. Let's see if this holds. And I was looking at this from a while ago as well too, that I thought that, hey, maybe we're going to break out, was this candle. So you can see kind of the similarities with that crazy volume. But one thing that I'm noticing with these crypto plays is that you're not going to get that insane isolation from these candles, and you'll get those deeper pullbacks. But that's something to be weary of. This is a standalone volume signature right here, guys, on spot itself. So I'm curious if this is going to come into play as well, guys, because we do have us pushing all the way down to south of 92K and then pushing all the way back up, forming that hammer candle that, you know, I'm always looking for. Excuse me. So, I mean, but is that going to come into play? But if we breach 92K, thesis invalidated, that's fine. But if we stick to the top side, I think my next add on these things is going to be at the break of the all-time highs, or maybe at the lows. But the thing is, with me buying these dips here, you're kind of subjected to that dip to the lower side. And I think if we break, we're going to hit those mid-80s and then come back into this breakout range here on Bitcoin. But it seems that the demand is extremely high on this thing, so it's really tough fighting this trend. But let's see what Adair is up to.
Let's take a look here at some Meg 7 CapEx growth. This is the new graphic here just posted on X by TTV Research. So this is the cumulative CapEx in billions over the last 10 years, so per year, for Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. I chose these four names because they've already reported earnings for Q4 2024, whereas Amazon, of course, is reporting tomorrow night. Couple of things are interesting. A, this growth is pretty consistent except for a 3-year period from 2018 to 2019 where the cumulative CapEx actually dropped each year. And then two, I think what's interesting as well is you've got more growth in some companies than you have in others. Google has steadily grown its CapEx, whereas Apple's actually kind of expands and contracts over the years. Meta's another one with pretty steady CapEx growth. So it's interesting here. Apple probably the most stable of the bunch when it comes to CapEx growth. And again, this is not guidance, this is their actual reported CapEx from 2015 to 2024. We'll have to see how Amazon fares, and I'll probably update this graphic to include Amazon after that report. But regardless, check this out here at X at TTV Research. I also have a Michael Saylor graphic down the pipeline that'll be posted later today, so keep an eye out for that. Back to you.
Can't wait for that Micro Saylor one, or, you know, now this company's not called MicroStrategy anymore.
Strategy.
It's just strategy.
That's crazy.
He's employing strategies. Guys, Tesla just lost the bid there. It broke 380. There's a lot of blood on the street right now for TSLA. So watch out with that one. Here we go, Joseph. This has been really kind of downtrend all day. We're well below that $400 level. We're taking out. Are we below yesterday's lows? Yes, we are decidedly below yesterday's lows. There is some support over here from Monday's low, right around 377. You feel like it's more like a 378 low. We're going to keep eyes on that. But Tesla on the way down, negative on the day, 3 1/3. You know, aside from Google, it's one of the worst performing Mag 7 names on the day. Obviously, Google the worst, having reported earnings yesterday, but off that. Definitely off the low, still 7 1/4 negatory. I'm long Apple right now, trying to see if this wants to curl off 230. It's kind of putting in higher highs and higher lows, but it's not getting off the schneid. We're defending 21,700 on the future. That has me optimistic that Apple can curl up, but Apple isn't curling. I feel like maybe 230 is just, the level that we're going to top out today. So I've kept my stop real tight right now. We'll see exactly what we get here, Joseph. Looking for a curl back up on the dead one, Apple. It's unable to break 10s for whatever reason. It's putting in higher lows and higher highs, but we're not really getting a move up. There we go. Now we're getting the move. So just complain, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Call it out. So I'm waiting at 25s. Let's see exactly if the Apple wants to curl off that 230 and give me that 25 print. We're looking for that. Joseph, what do you got on your side there, bro?
Yeah, Alex Davis, that's funny.
What happened?
You just said something pretty funny, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's borderline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
borderline. Can't repeat it.
Can't repeat it, exactly.
All right.
But here we go with Tesla, guys. Down about 3.4%. It's what I've been saying earlier. Like you got to look at where we're at from a daily perspective. Is it in breakout territory? No. Is it in bounce territory? Potentially. But is it bouncing? It doesn't seem to be the case. So we're down over 3.5% now on the session as it continues to absolutely tank. And you're going to see that selling pressure really start to kick in here, guys, on this vehicle. So, I mean, this is not a long. I see a lot of people saying that they're buying their contracts down here and stuff. I just don't think this stock is ready to turn around just yet. I think we'll be able to determine when it is. And with that, we're going to get those indecision prints on the daily. And that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye out for. But as of right now, you can see what we got going on. As I mentioned before, and as I drew out for you guys, is that we're at some key levels. So 370, 78 and change, that's some big support here, guys. I'm not going to call this a head and shoulders or anything along those lines, but you can see that if we breach, and usually so, when that momentum steps into the downside through key support levels, you might see some more. I would have the next level around $3.50 or something, or 350 cents, not $3, 350 maybe for Tesla. And I think that's a price target that may be somewhat of a psychological number as well too, Sharif, here on Elon and company.
All right, yeah, Tesla is really dropping off here. All right, we're about 25 pennies in the money or so on the dead one, Apple, as it curls back off that 230. It's a higher low, higher high kind of situation where it gives you that curling effect, that rounding effect. They're off a predictable level. I mean, 230 is, it's a resistance level on the daily. It was anyway. And then obviously intraday, we're looking at the whole dollar, the $10 level, typically an area of psychological resistance and support. So we've got the print there, a few prints to the high side. Now I'm waiting in front of the 50 penny level if it is to make its way up there. I'll stop out though, anything below 230. I'm not going to give anything back on this as we wind down the show. About 6 minutes left to the big kahunas come on, but I want to mention that BBAI is starting to curl as well. So I was looking at this one as a possible flat bottom break, and we hit the animation. We did that whole thing. Let me just throw in my stop on Apple. There we go, just 229. We'll give it to like mid-90s or something like that. There we go, 229. There we go. So we'll throw that out. But I want to point this out over here on BBAI before we cover IVVD. So I was looking here at BBAI to be possibly a bear flag with a flat bottom break coming through that 670. But what I didn't account for was the fact that we're still a healthy amount above that volume weighted average price at 650. So this could be a curling effect here where it kind of tries to retake that $7 level, and then, if it really gets going, to take out that high day at 754. So BBAI should be in focus for you guys right now if you like these small cap style gappers. There's my man Randy having a look at BBAI. I think he's impressed by the name. IVVD, let's load that bad boy up because it's moving as well. IVVD. Yeah, so this one is a good name. On the day, it's up 35%. A couple of bull flags formed over here. There's your first one, and now we're in the midst of the second one. Feels like a pennant with a bit of a compression pattern happening with higher lows, but lower highs. On IVVD, the high of the day is 182. It looks like we might take out this candle's high at 175. This one could be on one. It's got higher lows too. So in the compression pattern, obviously, you have that higher low, lower high situation. This one could be a good one, Randy, going into the afternoon. I love how they're throwing this guy around. Ram showing Andre how to manipulate Randy there on the green screen. Poor guy is just being thrown around there. A shout out to Randy.
Dare laugh.
Right? So a good look right now, guys. IVVD, keep that one on your watch list if you like these small cap gappers. QNTM is still in play as well. I want to point that out. That's one we had a couple of good trades on. QNTM, where is that bad boy? It's still above VWAP. I mean, I like this at 8.25. I'm not going to throw it in any orders because we're almost done the show, but I like 8.25 for VWAP. I also, if 8.25 gives way, I'd be looking at 8. There is price action. Initially resistance there at 8. Joseph, we have a super chat from our man Nimrod. I think that's shekels, 35.90 shekels. Thank you very much, Nimrod. Sharif, can you explain again your small cap tickers method? Has to be above pre-market high, has to be above VWAP. Anything else? No. Those are the minimum requirements that will allow me to even keep it on the side chart. If it doesn't have those two things, then I remove it because it's no longer tradable under my system. Sorry to interrupt. Big Bear AI is curling. It's coming into 7 right now. So it held that 6 3/4. Andre, I want to show this, please. Curling off that 6 3/4 area. Andre, please, screen. Into that $7 area. Here we go with Big Bear AI coming into $7. But just to give you kind of an explanation of the method, let me find the best one to look at here. Yeah, Big Bear AI. We'll just put BBAI on the side chart. So no, this one's not good because it doesn't have a pre-market high. Okay, let me see which other ones have pre-market highs. Let me just have a look at over here. I'm just looking to see which ones traded well in the pre-market. ACB. Okay, we'll put ACB only because it was running in the pre-market. So this level, yes, there we go. So ACB, for me to get involved with ACB, it had to be above that $5 area. Well, why? Because that $5 area was the high of the pre-market. So if this is trading, even if it's above VWAP, but it's below the pre-market high, I won't get involved, okay? Because usually there's a lot of bag holders that could be holding that from the pre-market high that'll keep that one down. I don't want to be involved in that. So it's got to be above the pre-market high, and then that white line, that's a volume-weighted average price. But that doesn't mean that I'm just going to punch in willy-nilly blindly, right? It's got to be setting up the right way. Is it pulling into a key area of technical support? Is it putting in higher lows and higher highs? Is it respecting the 10 exponential? Is it bouncing off VWAP? So all the different things that you would ask yourself when you're trading any stock, I would ask myself with the small cap gappers. But the two filters that I want to say I use are pre-market high above that, above the volume weighted average price. Nimrod, great question. I hope that helps, my man. And I hope you print up multiple storms today. 1 minute left on the show. BBAI just took 7. So it's trying to take 7, I should say. It was at 7.05, zigging and zagging right now below the 6.99 area. We are taking out some shares there on Apple, 50 pennies in the money. Appreciate you, Katina, man. This one just took the $0.50. The high of the day on the dead one Apple is 231 1/4. So be on the lookout right now. Apple curling, and likewise the Fuge defending 21,700. It's also putting in higher lows and higher highs on the NQ March contract. Joseph?
Yes, sir.
It is now 2 o'clock. Send them off.
Yeah, guys, that's it. We'll talk some options tomorrow. Hopefully everybody's had a good session. Keep it green. Don't ruin your day. It is hump day today, Wednesday, so there's always going to be a new day tomorrow, guys.
Take care.
I mean, that's
Welcome
one thing
back.
about trading.
Usually there's a day tomorrow.
You always hope there's another day there.
If there isn't, then you've got bigger problems than trading. What happened to the? I just looked over and I didn't even see
Randy
the other
threw it
pair.
over there, passing that ball over there.
I don't even know why I didn't notice that or did notice that just now.
Oh, hey, Josh Allen, how's it going? Oh, that's nice to know.
I don't even understand how we put a Josh Allen